All right, go.
In 5, 4, 3.
That's tomorrow, and that is it.
In 5, 4, 3.
That's tomorrow, and that is it for us today. And we will leave you with a... I can't do it. We'll do it live.
Okay. Go.
We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it, and we'll do it live. Fucking thing sucks.
5, 4, 3.
That's tomorrow, and that is it for us today. I'm Bill O'Reilly. Thanks again for watching. We'll leave you with Sting and a cut off his new album. Take it away.
What is up, everybody? It is your boy Lou Martinez, aka Big Chief Burrito, live with you on a Sunday, taping the Mi Gente Show with my co-host, Miss Sofia Carrillo. Is she on? Is she dead? Is she live? She has removed herself from the stream, so I'll be doing our intro here by myself until she gets back. Thank you for joining us live on the 2 a.m. Burrito Network. Hope everybody is having a good spring slash early summer season here in May. Thank you for stopping by. Sophia's internet went out momentarily, so she will be joining us soon. But we will start off with some personal news for myself, since Sophia is gonna have to log back in momentarily once her internet is up. Obviously, it happens 2 seconds before we went live. But thank you, everybody that's joined us. While Sophia gets here, is that her? Is she coming?
Internet immediately went out.
Absolutely. Like I said, hey, Miss Sofia Carrillo. Hey, welcome to the stream. Hey, thanks for having that Walmart internet.
I know. we need to get our own studio is what I'm thinking.
We do have a studio that's being built right now. Flynn Brothers Studio opened up. Actually, that's one of the things. Flynn Brothers Studio opened up in Miramar. That's one of the things I was going to talk about in personal news. That is one of the things that's happening currently. We have a full service production studio available, full green screen, different types of walls, white podcast recording, live streaming, self taping. And I am one of the partners in the studio, as well as one of the marketing and salesperson. So if you have a job, small or big, that requires a studio or production team, hit me up, or look for Flynn Brothers Studios, and you will get that. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
You're a little tired, a little under the weather.
A little under the weather. Yeah. Because of my own doing, and just struggling today. I'm on the struggle bus,
All right. Drink that coffee. Put your big girl panties on, and let's go.
I am chugging this coffee.
Mi
How are you
Gente-
doing?
All right, okay. As well as can be expected, for most of my close friends and family and contacts, they know that I suffered a loss in my family a couple of weeks ago. My dad, who was 91, passed away. and somebody that I've been taking care of for the last 7 years, hardcore for the last 2 to 3 years. And even though I've been preparing for it for a very, very long time, it still hit me. Postponed everything, all the recordings, all the stuff for a couple of weeks. Thought I was going to be ready last week. But last second, I was like, I wasn't ready to be on, so to speak.
Yeah.
And I think that the extra week did me a lot of good. I was for a minute, as I've been telling people, thinking that I could outsmart grief somehow. Because I'm a
Well,
narcissist, so obviously I think
ye-
I'm smarter than everything. So I for a second I was like, well, maybe I don't need all the time that people think. And then I try to get back into like a routine and stuff, and then they just kick me in the ass real hard this past week. But I started over from scratch. um you know and I did a good job. And I talk sometimes about stories about my childhood and my dad, but I wanted to just say a couple of really short words because get the sad part out of the way first before we get on to some funny bits. But my dad was 91. He was born in 1931. He got to hear Uruguay win a World Cup on the radio, not on TV. He heard it on the radio in 1950. Biggest soccer upset of all time. Uruguay, a country with 2 million people, went into Brazil, into a stadium that they had built for the World Cup in front of 100,000 plus people in Maracanã in Brazil, and beat Brazil in Brazil to beat the World Cup. It's quite literally one of the biggest sports upset of all time. And he got to hear that when he was 19 years old on the radio, and got to go party and do that. He also was a musician. He accompanied every major tango artist from 1940 to 1998. He taught me a lot of good stuff, a lot of bad stuff. I am definitely a mix of his gambling, not giving a fuck, cunning, and my mother's organizational, more spiritual mix. Um, Even though they were both artists and musicians, I never had a musical bone in my body. My art is comedy and film, but I am definitely my father's son, and it was an honor to be able to repay him for all the stuff he did in my life by taking care of him at the end of his. But it also was fucking crushingly hard. So it is what it is. I feel sometimes I would feel lucky because I would talk to people and they would be like, "Well, you're taking care of your dad," and they'd be like, "Well, I would give anything to be taking care of my dad because I lost my dad when I was 7 or when I was 19, or I
mhm.
never knew my dad." And so sometimes I would feel lucky for and guilty for still having him in my life. But then the minus side of that is that the end part, and seeing your hero wither away is a bitch. So
Yeah.
we are back, after having taken some time off to grieve. Obviously, I know it's a process, but I do appreciate, and I say this in all humility, I do appreciate everybody who reached out, yourself, people who helped me, who both emotionally, monetarily, through messages, through little cards, through calls, through everything. It was an incredible help. So I appreciate that.
Mhm.
We were able to cover most of the expenses. We're still, my dad's final wishes are a bit eccentric for his resting, for what we're doing with it. So that's also going to be a little bit. So, and we do have the campaign open for like another 10 days or something. And I'll post that in the comment section for anybody that
Yeah, the
wants to help
GoFundMe.
out. Yeah, well, it's through PayPal.
Oh,
It's
okay.
called Generosity Network. But obviously, like, it's been friggin' incredible to get people support. Big shout out to you, the whole Tui and Burrito crew, my family, my friends, my sister,
Mhm. We love
for
you.
helping me through. Yeah, and yeah, and I appreciate that. And I didn't even know that I was going to need you guys as much as I did, but I did, and you guys have been there. So that being said, thank you everybody. Now it's time to make funny stuff and start getting figure out what to do with my life now that I have a lot more free time because I'm not a full time
Yeah.
caregiver anymore. So
Mhm.
expect more content. Expect hopefully our next few films. Um,
Yes.
and to get into the mix with everything. So I did want to. So that's personal news.
Mhm. Yep, grief
And
is
my
a bitch.
yeah, and my little abbreviated soliloquy slash. I did want to share one picture, if I could, that I thought was really interesting. Which was it's not a picture, it's a row of pictures in my Instagram account that kind of
Mhm.
seemed kind of funny. So if you look, the picture in the middle here is me and my dad in 1995, and
Yeah.
then if you look at the picture on the left, it's me and Randy. But
It's
look
mirrored.
look how I'm hugging. Look how like how kind of like my mannerism and how I put my arm around Randy, and like how my dad has his
Yeah.
arm around me.
Oh my god, it is exactly like your dad. Wow.
Yeah, like that's so. It's kind
Even
of
the
like a
facial expression too.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah. Like
oh
he's
my
got a bigger
god.
smile than me, but like so that's cool. And then of course this picture here with his jumpsuit because you know
Oh, Nettie.
the drip is eternal and universal.
Yep. Oh yeah, for sure.
So I just thought that was kind of an interesting. I was looking through some pictures today. You know, that's him as at his birthday last year. That's
Mhm.
him playing poker. You can tell like he's got over like $150 worth of chips in front of him at our poker
Oof,
table because he was always kicking our ass, and then
Jesus.
him at the poker table where he was always happy. So
Mm.
again, obviously something I wasn't necessarily prepared for, even though I've been thinking about it for the last 7 years. But like I said, I do appreciate everybody who's checked in on me and everything like that. So yeah, you know, it is
Yeah.
a part, and this podcast is about me and about you and about life and about what we're going through. So obviously, wanted to share that with everybody, and like I said, I appreciate everybody's generosity and their kind words.
Yeah. Well, we love you, and I'm very happy to hear that you are, continuing to deal with the grief is obviously a process. So just be kind to yourself.
I'm trying. I'm
Yeah.
trying. And this podcast and this episode is brought to us by Megapints, a very large, humongous measurement of alcohol.
Yep. Oh
Do
my
you
god.
Are you not getting enough alcohol? Are your beers not big enough? Is your booze not hitting the right spot? Try Megapint. It's a very large or huge measurement of alcohol. And you can get this mega pint glass at our sponsor, M&KM Custom Designs. They're out of Hawaii. They're a friend of mine. They do custom graphics and design on hats, cups,
Mhm.
as you can see, all kinds of T-shirts, all kinds of design. This is a cool shirt, Loca.
Oh
Uh,
yes.
yeah.
Love it.
So, all right, go to their Etsy shop, M&M Custom Designs, and you can get yourself
A
a mega
mega
pint,
Oh
a
my god,
very
I want that
large
so bad.
or humongous measurement
Mega
of alcohol.
punch.
Mega pints.
Mega punch.
Which
Oh.
brings us to our show. So lots of things happening right now. Lots of things happening in the world. I figured let's start there. You want to start with Amber and Johnny?
Oh, yikes. Yeah. Yeah. Oh my god, it's been such a circus. It
But I mean, you've been more closely following it on a day-to-day basis than I have. I feel like I've been watching highlights and kind of seeing
Mhm.
the reaction and stuff like that. So I have some takes based on that. But you've been what has struck you as kind of as a daily watcher? Because I remember watching like the OJ trial every day
Mhm.
and stuff like that. But you know, this is sort of captured the everybody's imagination. You know.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, because I've been off of work for a bit, and so sometimes I'll just put on the background, it happens in Easter time, so it's really early and most of the day. They literally do 8 hours in the courtroom. I don't know why. Like it's just such a long process. And so sometimes I'll just put it on the background and stuff like that. So I've been following it not as closely anymore. I haven't really kept up to date this week. I saw a few things, but not as much as I was like a couple weeks ago. And I don't know, man. It just feels I have a weird I think I have a not a weird take, but I don't think I'm in the majority because it seems there are two sides of the story when it comes to how the media is portraying it versus what is actually happening in the courtroom, which is what has been pissing me off the most because I go on TikTok and like there's all these Johnny Depp TikToks and stuff like that, and it's all very pro Johnny Depp, and a few things do get misconstrued, or like I'm not here for the bullying of the attorneys for Amber Heard. I feel like they're doing just as good a job as Johnny Depp's, but for some reason they get shit on in the media. I don't know if that's gonna mess with their careers. Um, and the more that you hear from the story, someone's lying, first of all, but unfortunately, there is no way of proving it. And it's really quite infuriating because so what I've noticed, the gist of the whole thing is Amber Heard, obviously, she claims that she was sexually abused, and beaten and blah blah blah. All this abuse from her relationship with Johnny Depp. And Johnny Depp is just saying, nope, those are all lies, right? The problem is the witnesses that have been provided have been biased towards one party or the other. And so I can't, like, as a juror, I have a very different perspective than as someone just fucking around on TikTok, right? It looks like Johnny Depp's winning. You're very like it's a fun little haha, like she's psycho and he's like, not all men, all that stuff. Which I understand because if she is lying and he is the victim, then that's fucking terrible, right? But the problem is most of the witnesses that are being provided are very biased for Johnny Depp. Most of them work for him. So I can't believe a thing that they fucking say. And then people don't want to go on the stand for Amber Heard. I think James Franco was supposed to take the stand on her behalf and he backed away, which is like probably good for PR purposes. But no one wants to touch her now because it's not good PR. And then there were oh my god, there were fucking there was a psychologist on Johnny Depp's behalf. And it's so crazy because like she came on and she was saying all these things like Amber Heard, I diagnosed her with what was the disorder? What is it said?
Histrionic personality disorder,
There you
an
go,
extreme
histrionic
form of
personality
narcissism.
disorder. Yes, yes, yes. And then I'm like, "Oh shit, that's crazy. Like he won." And then the cross-examination team goes and completely discount everything that she said because she is getting paid by Johnny Depp. So it was like a psychologist that was hired by Johnny Depp. They were literally like, "Did you have dinner at his place? And is that something that you do normally with the client?" And she's like, "I did." And no, that's not normal. Like so I was like, "Well, I can't believe you now." And then there
Mm.
was another psychiatrist that came on and was more on the Amber Heard side. And then it's like cross-examination also had a heyday with her, but it's one of those things where we will never know what actually happened because we weren't there. And the witnesses are, in my opinion, just like very biased. And it was also so long ago. There's just no way of proving guilt or innocence. And so because I was in jury duty one time and I remember it had to do with domestic violence as well. And the sentence that we were supposed to say guilty or not guilty for was it had the word intent. If the word intent wasn't there, he clearly beat her. So if the word intent wasn't there, he's guilty. But the intent word was there. And that changed our verdict. We were like, well, we can't prove intent. So anyway, I don't know what the question is here. I think it's a defamation trial. But I don't know I don't know who needs to work harder. Like who if he needs to prove innocence or if she needs to prove um his
Where's the
guilt
burden of
because
proof?
none of them are getting their point across.
Well, the burden of
Um,
proof is usually on the prosecution, right?
yeah, usually, but I think this one is Johnny Depp suing her for defamation, right? So is the burden of proof on him more so?
Is this a jury? This is a jury trial, right?
It's a jury trial, yeah.
Okay,
So
because
as a
that's one of
juror, I'm confused as fuck. I'm like, I wouldn't be able to say that he's guilty or innocent.
yeah. my thoughts and kind of mirror a little bit about of yours, which is
Mhm.
that it's been weird that the trial is even happening because he lost the trial in the UK,
Mhm.
right? And that was the defamation because of the paper that had called him an abuser or drunk or something like that, right?
Mhm.
So he countersues in like Maryland, or where is the trial happening? It's somewhere near
I don't
Delaware,
think
somewhere,
somewhere.
somewhere.
Timbuktu.
And then everybody's like, okay, people just decided that, and there's this huge segment of fangirls that are
Mhm.
just choosing this all for Johnny thing to die on, and they're like so gun ho about it, and it's
Yeah.
getting a little pathetic. And
Yeah.
then if we could talk to the ladies for a little bit, it's not a good look. It's not a good look for you to just be like 100. We went from from Me Too to Believe All Women to this particular woman needs to go fuck off.
Yeah, no, this woman is a psycho bitch.
They need to delete her off of Aquaman 2.
Uh-huh.
She needs to get super fucking canceled. She needs to. Johnny's never done anything fucking wrong in his life. He
Mhm.
never touched cocaine. He never touched drugs. He never did shit.
He's
Meanwhile,
an
he
angel.
he was outside the Viper Room, I think, where River Phoenix OD'd. There was a story that came out today that he helped. He gave Courtney Love like CPR when she was ODing. So like Johnny Depp fucked Winona Ryder in her fucking prime.
Yes.
Ka- Kate Moss, which was like the mother of all supermodels in the '90s.
Mhm.
Johnny Depp's
He'll
gonna
be
be
fine.
fine.
Yes,
He
exactly.
he doesn't need you to fucking make your entire online persona defending him. You don't
Mhm.
need to travel out of state to go stand outside his court and fucking cheer for him. You
Mhm.
don't need to besmirch another woman who, if she's lying, 30 to 40% of what she's saying is true.
Mhm.
There's no way that was a one-way relationship of abuse.
Mm-mm.
And here's another fucking tidbit. When you are being abused in a relationship, one of the ways that you can try to get out of that relationship is by returning abuse.
Mhm.
Okay, if you are in an abusive relationship, and if it's a fucking and it's a crazy bipolar fucking codependent relationship, one of the ways that people try to regain control is by taking, you know abusing the other partner. you know
Mhm.
Trying to, maybe if I'm a fucking asshole, this bitch will leave me.
Yeah.
But and you can't be a fucking movie star that has his own fucking island that spends like 50 grand a month on wine and
Yeah.
not be a little weird.
Yeah.
So it doesn't nobody is taking money or food out of Johnny Depp's mouth.
Mhm.
Johnny Depp is still getting fucking uh, cologne and fucking Calvin Klein or whatever the fuck ads he's getting in Europe. It doesn't matter if he never gets to do another Pirates movie.
Mhm.
He's probably still got Edward Scissorhands money somewhere. Like
Yeah.
this guy's been a mega star for fucking 30 years. He does not
Exactly.
care. He's not gonna fuck you.
Yeah.
He's not gonna acknowledge you. Sure, he's gonna wave and be nice, but nobody, he's not growing tumescent that thinking Tiffany and fucking Jolene in fucking California and Tennessee are fucking posting about how Amber Heard is a fucking cunt. It
Mhm.
doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And it's a bad look. You're making yourself look bad, ladies, because you can't be fucking spewing Me Too and fucking Believe All Women and then all of a sudden choose this one guy who happens to be a fucking stud looking fucking god with
Go
fucking
off.
money and hair and fucking chains. Or Amber, you should have bet Amber. And all of a sudden you're like,
Yeah.
believe all women except this
Except
one
this one.
bitch,
She
except
sucks.
this bitch, and they better take her off of Aquaman 2. And
Yeah.
also, the producers of Aquaman 2 don't give a fuck if you don't want Amber Heard in the movie. They will make a business decision.
Mhm. Yeah.
And they trimmed her part, and they're like,
Mhm.
oh, they need to reshoot it. And fuck off.
Yeah.
Pick a better hill to die on. Pick a better topic to be pissed about. fucking go. If you're gonna be Greta, how dare you? I mean, at least she
Right
was
at the
doing it about the fucking environment, an
Yes,
existential
something
threat
that
to fucking
matters.
humanity. You're
Mhm.
going, how dare you about Johnny fucking Depp?
Yeah, yeah. No, fuck yeah. It's first of all, yes, preach. Go off, sis. God damn, that was pent up. Oh my god. No, it is infuriating though, because at the end of the day, this was toxic both ways. All I'm getting from this is I don't know if he did it. I don't know if he sexually abused her because, all that stuff. There's no actual proof. So all we can do is fucking guess. What I do know is that he is a drug addict. He has a history with drugs. He does them and then he goes off. And what I know about her is that whether she has a disorder or not, she she's aggressive. She just is verbally abusive. So them together was just not a good fucking match, and it was toxic both ways. So for me to sit there and be like, "Oh, he's such a victim, poor Johnny." Like, no, what the fuck? Like, I'm sorry. You own an island, first of all. All these people in the witness stands, you paid them off. So like, I don't trust shit from you. I don't trust men with power in general, and he has all the fucking power in the fucking world. He could have
All of it.
abused her and gone away with it. So I don't know. But with her, I mean, she has more to lose as well. I'm not saying that I believe her because not all women, right? He could very well just be the another victim of a woman lying, right? This could be a gone girl situation. Who knows? I don't fucking know. What I do know is that they were both extremely toxic and they partook in this situation and it escalated. And I just feel wrong to that the internet it's I just feel so fucking icky when I see anybody like just reactionary content of like talking shit about Amber Heard and like, oh, like, all these funny little TikToks and stuff like that. It makes me feel unsettled because I'm like, this is at the end of the day, this is a relationship of violence. It was a toxic relationship and we're just all here watching it for our own entertainment. It's fucking sickening. It's one of those things that reminds me of like the documentary with Britney Spears where we all look back and and we're like, oh, 2020 vision, like, wow, we were sexist, we were a fucked up society, and I can't believe she went through all of that. How did we not see it? And we're living it in real time. That is what we are doing to Amber Heard. We are villainizing her, we're talking shit, we are destroying her career because let's be honest, if anything from this trial, Johnny Depp's name is cleared, whether he's guilty or not. He gets to walk and like he'll get more deals. It seems like the court of public opinion is on his side, which means that he wins, right? Like for example, the shitting the bed part, the
Yeah.
shitting the bed story. That's another thing that pissed me off because it's an allegation. She denies it. He is like, oh, that was human fecal matter, whatever, and just immediately assumes it's her, and she denies it. So, but what happens online? Now she's the girl who shit the bed. Now she's the psycho who pooped like and we don't fucking know. We don't have any proof. We don't fucking know.
Amber,
So, but she's a villain. No, she's a bitch. She's a
you
cunt,
shit
and
the
she's
bed,
psycho.
Amber. There
You
was a
shit the
big
bed,
dookie in
Amber.
my bed, Amber. No, absolutely. No, I absolutely. I think it's just it's. Can you imagine
Mhm.
if we found out that it's true that he violated her with a fucking bottle and
Exactly.
people were like denying it and making it like no, absolutely. So we were gonna do a little bit, but I think I think you made the right call on that one because I think
Yeah.
it's such a weird situation that you're gonna rush to make fun of it, and there's the comedy's there, but at
Yeah.
the end of the day, you're right. It's a relationship between two people, and being a superstar and being that rich doesn't come with it. I have dated women who are bipolar. I've talked about it on the show. People with
Mhm.
borderline personality disorders. There is a very strong possibility that Amber Heard is crazy. Johnny
Mhm.
Depp stuck his dick in crazy. He met her on the set of the Rum Diaries. There was a lot of rum being drunk. She was hot as fucking fish grease,
Mhm.
and he decided, "Fuck it, I'm Johnny Depp. I've been with Winona. I've been with Kate Moss. I'm gonna. This is my next one, and more power to him." So Johnny Depp could not get laid for the next 40 years and still would have gotten laid more times than every other Elon Musk fan on the planet.
Mhm.
So I think that. It is funny, and then okay, I saw a couple of things that correspond to that I'll bring up here so I can
Okay,
knock them off of our list. All right,
let's do
here's
it.
one that's interesting. Depp stands when Amber is on the stand. This is fake. She's an actor. Depp stand when he is on the stand. OMG, he's so sincere, and I know he's not acting because I have a very celestial connection with him. By the way, he's the best actor of all time, but he's not acting here because I know.
No, not a
Exactly.
baby Johnny. No.
Exactly, not baby Johnny.
Oh my god.
One thing I did find interesting was how Johnny is worried. Johnny is worried about the public perception. I think
Hmm.
Johnny is all about winning, and I think Kurt mentioned it. It doesn't matter if Johnny loses; he's already won the internet, which of these days is a
Exactly.
higher card, which is true. So I think Johnny's trying
Yep.
to win the internet. Johnny's trying to win the court of public opinion. Amber's trying to win the trial.
Yeah.
She addresses her answers directly through the juror.
Hmm.
So the she's talking to the lawyer and then she's like, "Oh, yes, I definitely was scared for, so she's definitely like addressing
She's
trying to
just
make
that
connection
shit
with
works too. I'm just
she
saying.
is trying to make a connection with the jury.
Yeah.
Johnny's trying to make a connection with the internet, right?
Hmm.
And some of the things that have come out is there's possibility Elon Musk may be behind nearly $1 million in donation in Amber Heard's name. So he might have been secretly donating money to her PAC.
Hmm.
So we shall never know. Why do
Yeah.
people take so much pleasure in attacking Amber Heard? Was an interesting article.
Exactly.
Exactly. And
I
here's another one recently.
oh yeah, I love her.
Johnny Depp and Camille Vasquez flirtatious behavior could be staged, experts
Yeah.
say.
Oh my god, I would not. Yeah, I would not doubt that. Holy shit.
Tender interactions.
It's all
See,
about publicity.
this buys into that narrative, which is, look, Johnny might fuck this regular ass chick. You
Hmm.
never know. There's a chance for you.
Yeah,
Um, I
you're
think.
totally right. Oh my god. Yeah.
I think what is it? The thing that that Matt Gates got in trouble for saying that the overeducated, underloved women were the ones that were against something or other. What was he saying? He said so. The the NPR crowd, ladies, are really getting a kick out of this situation because they see him with this kind of regular-ish girl who's
Yeah.
also hot as
Also
hell.
hot as hell. Yeah.
Yeah, and she's a lawyer. What's wrong with that?
Oh,
Camille
suck it up,
Vasquez,
smart women.
call me. But that feeds into that theory of,
Hmm.
well, is he's trying to win the internet, right?
And he's yeah, and I would argue he's done so successfully. So I think that regardless, he's getting out of this unscathed and he's totally fine. And I don't think I can say the same for Amber Heard. I think her career is pretty much over.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's why she didn't spend that settlement money that she said she was supposed to she was going to give it to charity, or maybe I don't
Mm,
know. I don't know.
mhm.
I don't know.
Mm,
I don't know, man. She rebounded from him to like a billionaire. So I think if
that's
Elon's in
true.
her back pocket, there's not a better sugar daddy out there.
That yeah, that's very true. Wait,
I
are they
mean,
still
if
together?
no, I don't think they're
Okay.
together, but there's been rumors that he funneled some money to her lawyering account, so he might be helping her out. You know what I mean?
Mm,
Elon's. I mean, Amber Heard is very attractive, right? She's cute.
she's hot. Yeah, checks out.
So again, it's a weird hill for people to die on. It
Yeah.
is just really weird to all these people that are just so dead set against her, and they need to
Hmm.
but there's literally just like they need to reshoot Aquaman 2, and
God,
how
yeah.
dare she have a career? She accused Johnny of doing something. She is 100% lying. I don't understand those people.
Yeah, no, and it's so hypocritical too because I mean like that Twitter comment said, it's so funny how she is always like acting and lying and putting a show and she shouldn't be able to fucking have a job after this. You shouldn't work. But then like the whole point of the trial is that you're so mad that Johnny Depp was being the victim, that he was losing stuff, that he's not going to be Jack Sparrow. That so why is it that you can flip it one like a total 180, just like, "Oh, no, no, it's fine, but if someone would do it f to her, but not with Johnny, not him."
Yeah.
I don't know
Believe
how anyone can be
the hashtag is believe most women.
yes, believe most some. But
believe some women.
yeah, all men are
With-
trash except Johnny Depp. It's just he's an
and
angel.
then from a male perspective, it's like it almost is it's because it's like, oh, this is the guy that you're gonna believe. This is
Hmm.
the Johnny Depp. So I have to be
Yeah.
Johnny Depp to be accused and for you to believe me. Right?
Exactly. It's not a very sympathetic position. As a as someone who's been watching the trial, like if I was a
Yeah.
juror, I honestly don't believe Johnny Depp. Like I so far, I feel like the witnesses have all been bought because they all work
Mm.
for him. And she's outnumbered, man. Like I'm like, if these allegations are true, I feel fucking bad for her. Like she has to be sitting on the stand reliving her fucking trauma. Like, no, that's fun. And then the internet and everyone's gonna gang up on her. It's just fucking sad. And then if she's lying, then well, Johnny Depp at least what fucking is able to live a happy life normal after this, right? Because everyone's lying. On the court of public opinion, he fucking won. I will say the most fucked up part is like his finger. Like I do not like that, but it's just weird when drugs are involved and you're also partaking in the violence. Um, yeah, I don't know. It's just a fucked up situation. I think they're both victims to each other, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, if you had to say it's 100%
Hmm.
divvy up the blame, I would say I would go 65 Amber, 35 Johnny.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah,
70-30, 70-30, 65-35. It is not a 100 or a 90% one side or the other situation.
no, not at all.
There
I
was
would go more, yeah, 60. Yeah, 60 sounds about right. Because she's also, I mean, think about who has power in the situation as well. Um, like he has a fucking shit ton of money. And if I've learned anything from this trial is that he had a lot of power over her and say into what she wore, what she did, where she went, her schedule. He literally would buy, and these are all facts. He would buy her family things. Like he tends to be the person who like uses his money to manipulate people. It's just
Mhm.
what it's sounding based on the facts that I've heard, which is he bought a bunch of gifts for all her friends, all her family, kind of winning them over. And I'm like, that's kind of what an abuser does is the first move is to fucking, corral the person. And, so I
Yeah, so
don't
your
know.
own family doesn't believe you.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. So I'm like,
What do you mean Johnny's abusive? He bought me some
Johnny's
golf
great.
clubs. He bought me those
Exactly.
golf clubs.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm not saying, but those are the facts. And I just think it's a little sus. And for somebody to say like it's anyone's 100% guilty, that's not
Mhm.
true. So I don't know. We live in a fucked up society. And I think in 20 years or so, we're going to look back at this and be like, man, we were fucked up to Amber.
Yeah, and then the other part of it is the fact that there's so much horrible shit going on in the world, and it's grabbing everybody's attention, including ours.
Hmm.
We're not above that, but there's other more
Yeah.
serious shows that can tackle the serious shit happening in the world.
Yeah.
And we're just a Latinx reactionary podcast that reacts to shit that's happening from a Latinx perspective. So what the fuck
Yeah.
can we do, right? Well, and that's been Amber Top, and I do once again want to remind you that this episode is sponsored by Megapint. Do you want to get drunk faster? Try Megapint.
Uh-huh.
Do you need a very large or huge measurement of alcohol? Try Megapint. Available through M&K Customs on Etsy
Oh
for
my God.
sale and a sponsor of the show. So again,
Yes.
get you a Megapint.
Get you a mega pint. I love that. I need that in my life.
Let me get you a
A
Megapint.
mega pints.
All right.
Um,
So moving on,
yeah.
let's get to this week in Latinidad. All
¿Qué
right, you
pasó?
ready?
¿Qué pasó esta
All right.
semana? Sí.
San Diego City College alum becomes citizen astronaut. Why wasn't this you? A young
What?
scientist who studied engineering in San Diego will become the first Mexican-born woman to fly to space. A group sponsoring her trip announced. Katia well, I'm
No lo
sorry, I can't
veo.
even. Echazareta.
Oh my God. Is she single? Is she queer? I was
Will
like,
travel abroad on Blue Origin spaceflight as citizen astronaut for Space for Humanity and aerospace exploration nonprofit. Es Chazareta, I'm sorry, I'm butchering that. Was born in Guadalajara, Mexico,
oh
and moved
my
to the United States
God.
7,
Never
according
mind.
to
She's my
Space for Humanity.
cousin.
the immigration process separated for her family for 5 years, and
Wow.
basically she is going to be. Let's take a look at her. Look at her. She's
Ah, cute. She might be a
uh,
cousin though. I'm from Guadalajara
she
too, so
might, she might, you
she
might
might be
be,
my cousin.
you might be related. So, and she's right here from San Diego City College.
Yo,
Come on,
I went to
yeah,
City College.
that's what
Oh
I'm
my God,
saying.
we have so much in common already.
Yeah, and
Wow.
she's an. Hey, you could do worse than an astronaut. I'm just gonna
Call me,
say it.
please.
That's not
I
that's
love
not
smart
bad.
women. I said that earlier. God.
All right, maybe she comes back into space, and then maybe she comes back from the moon, and then you can take her to outer space. I don't know.
Yeah.
I tried.
Oh,
I
I had
tried.
a dirty joke. No, I'm gonna shut up. Continue.
All right, all right. Anyway, so obviously, one of our goals is to pollute and find, instances of Latinx excellence. So this is a
Yeah.
really good idea that she's going to be the first Mexican American born person in space.
That is amazing. Jokes aside though, can we get her on the podcast? Because like that is fascinating. The fact that dude, City College, like she's a local and she's doing big things. I'm so proud. Oh my God.
I'm going to write myself a note right there, and so I remember. I'm just going to put Mexican astronaut.
Mexican astronaut. Come to the
Right,
show, please.
come to the show, please. This is yeah. If you yeah, we would love to have her on. Absolutely. All right. Now there's always the good and the bad. So on the other side of this week in Latinidad, uh, Mexican restaurant accused of using taco trucks to move coke and meth in the U.S. South.
No.
So there's the
Well,
good stuff, and then there's the bad.
good answer. Yeah, yeah.
There's always a great. A South Carolina Mexican restaurant stands accused of moving a lot more than mulitas inside its taco trucks. I wonder if they had to really figure out, should we say tacos? Should we? What's the perfect
Uh,
word to put in there? What's what should we put? Mulitas.
yeah.
Into an investigation in Los Primos Mexican restaurant, suspected in alleged drug trafficking conspiracy. So yeah, so these guys were apparently using their taco trucks to
I
move
mean,
drugs. I mean,
not surprised though. Like it reminds me. I mean, I'm deep in Better Call Saul right now, so it reminds me of Los
mhm.
Pollos Hermanos.
No, absolutely. No, that's but like I said, we take the good, we take the bad.
Mhm.
There's a lot happening. And, what's really good?
What is Lou?
Megapints.
I'm done with you. I'm done.
Do you need a
Oh,
faster delivery method for your alcohol so that you can get into your angry sex with your codependent narcissistic partner faster? Try Megapint. It is a very large or huge measurement of alcohol. Megapint. Sorry, it was right
so
there.
bad.
I had the tab open still, so I figured it out. All right, here's another random piece of news that I saw. Jason Sudeikis served Olivia Wilde with papers while she was on stage.
No! What?
Yeah,
They're divorcing?
yeah, they've been on a divorce thing and what have you, and she was
Oh my
speaking
God,
publicly.
no. That was like my dream threesome.
She
That's
was
so
speaking
sad.
publicly at CinemaCon, and apparently somebody walked on stage and served her with papers.
No, that is so embarrassing. Oh my God.
Yeah, and apparently he said he didn't know it was gonna happen. But I'm just sorry if you're a celebrity and you hire a law firm and they do that. I mean,
That's fucked up. Yeah.
that's not the best look. That's not the best look. So
No.
Ted Lasso,
Oh.
Ted Lasso fans, sorry about that. Didn't want to
I mean, bright side is she's single, so like call me Olivia, you know what I mean?
call me Olivia.
But oh man, I liked both of them. That sucks.
Right.
That's as far as
Eh,
my take.
that's as far as your take
Yeah.
goes. Let's see, what do we have left here? We've gone through this weekend Latinidad. Okay. Elon Musk tries to buy Twitter.
Yeah, what's been going on? What's been going on there? Because I've been taking a backseat on that one.
Well, so Elon tries to buy Twitter, or he says, well, what's Twitter really? Twitter is the what do they call it? The crowd, the town square, right? It's
Hmm.
kind of like our version of a town square now. Free speech is something that the right or more conservatives like to throw out there, but then they also, you know, try to shout stuff down that's happening, and they also try
Yeah.
to resist other stuff. This is the same people that say, my body, my choice when it
When it
comes
comes to
to
vaccinations.
vaccinations, and then
Mhm.
when they get to abortion, they're like, no, your body, my choice.
Yeah.
So Elon comes out, says he would buy Twitter. They go back and forth. They haggle. He says, "Fuck it, we're doing it." Um, then there's some issues about whether he's trying to manipulate the price. He sets a price. Twitter says they're not going to let him buy. They do what's called a poison pill, which basically means when the company doesn't want to be bought, it says, okay, if you bought all the shares of the other people now are doubled, so that what you bought is actually not the whole company but just a small part of the company, right?
Okay.
That's called a poison pill provision, which when somebody's trying to get taken over, they have this thing in set that says, okay, but all the shares are actually now, which means that even if you pay a lot of money, you're only buying a little piece of the company instead of a whole thing. That's how I understand it.
Mm.
Anyway, so he goes back and forth, blah blah blah, this and that, and I guess the main reason that, I mean, he is perceived as a Republican. He then came out a little bit ago and said he was gonna start voting Republican, which surprised nobody. And he said he would let Donald Trump back onto the platform. He said he would, and he's a free speech absolutist.
Mhm.
Basically, he believes that he doesn't believe that anybody should get kicked off Twitter. That you should be able to say as many horrible racist things as you possibly want, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Mm.
Um, so the immediate effect afterwards that I saw was that, um, a bunch of people, and this is the left's reaction, went on Facebook and Instagram and started talking about how they were leaving Twitter. Even though the majority of those people really never used it or were very active on it and stuff like
Mhm.
that. And I will never, and that is, I think, where the left really gets it wrong a lot of the time,
Mhm.
because I mean, if we're being honest here, the left are cucks, the right is the literal devil.
Mhm.
That's what we have. The left are, they 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 take a picture of a senator with his hands over a woman's chest. He has to resign. Oh,
Yeah.
the outrage, we could never let somebody else. Meanwhile, you have literal senators, accused of like sex with a 17-year-old, and they're
Mhm.
just like, whatever,
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
then yeah. The left is cucks, the right is literal devils. So, um so they overreact and say we're leaving Twitter. Nobody asked you. No, but you weren't even there. And I think my thought process on that was, that Twitter is, that there if I believe in free speech. I wrote a paper in
Mhm.
high school. I remember an article in high school, which was the necessity of protecting free speech, protecting the
Mhm.
right of Nazis to have their rallies, to do stuff like that. I trust that just because you see something happening, that it won't, a person should be able to see anything and decide whether they believe in it or not. Obviously, a
Yeah.
lot of racism is taught. A lot of racism is from growing up and seeing your parents be racist or your friends be racist and other stuff like that, and you just sort of going along and then developing those ideas or reacting to something that happened to you. But I do believe that if there's people that feel that way, they should have every right to talk about it. Now, that doesn't mean that there's a freedom from retaliation, freedom from somebody punching you in the face, freedom from getting fired, freedom from all these things, right? So,
Mhm. Exactly.
so, but then then you get into disinformation. Is disinformation free speech?
Mm.
Which means, do you believe that in what I say is free speech, your ability to go on and say, give this information about vaccinations, give this information about political stuff, about this and that, about opponents that you're having a political argument with,
Yeah.
is should that be protected? So let's start there. Do you feel that this information should be protected speech?
Man, that's hard. Huh. Mm, so yeah, uh, I'll say no. I'm leaning towards no. Um, but how? Like how are you going to control I think the internet is what's messing me up because I've never liked propaganda. I think publicity is insane and it can get really petty. I mean, with the whole Amber Heard and Johnny Depp as well. Um, there should be a freedom to say some bullshit, but at one point, is it hurting people? Because I think I'm very freedom of speech until it's hurting people.
Okay.
Right? And so the so misinformation is weird because it's intentionally meant to misinform people, which can be hurtful. Thinking out loud here.
Okay.
No, I think that there should be consequences. So should it yeah, if there's like if I make a meme that has some sort of misinformation and I publicize it and you find out that people took the wrong medication and died from it or whatever, then I feel like they should be able to trace the meme maker back to me and meme maker, the meme back to me and probably send me to jail. Yeah, because like you said, there's no freedom of consequences. So
So you think
mm,
there should be, you think that misinformation should be protected speech unless that misinformation causes somebody injury or bodily harm, and in which case you can be held liable for it.
yeah, because well, I don't know, because here it's a slippery slope as well, right? Because like, what would you consider misinformation? Like, let's say I have a I'm doing a prank on you, and I'm like, hi, I'm pregnant.
Mm.
And I don't know, whatever, just like whatever shit. Like, so what is the difference between me just saying a white lie in a funny haha way versus, misinformation about like giving people, about vaccines or about health stuff?
Well,
I don't know.
Well, Twitter is obviously one of the places, the forefront of that, because and they have
Mhm.
obviously created algorithms and kind of systems in place so that when people flag something as misinformation, they can data check it and stuff like that, and then they
Mhm.
ban.
So
So
I think that's fine. Yeah, I'm like, if you're purposefully saying lies and you get caught, I feel like there, yeah, why shouldn't it get banned?
well, the line is, let's say somebody like Marjorie Taylor Greene, right? Somebody
Oh
that's
God.
that's a psycho, right?
Yeah.
But to her, in her crazy ass mind, maybe there was a rigged election or there was something funny here. So she puts out all this stuff, but
Mhm.
Twitter, which is a public company, right? And this was Elon's sort of take is, I'm going to take the company private. Elon, Twitter's a private company, is a public company because it's owned by millions of shareholders, etc. I'm going to
Mhm.
spend 50 billion, but Twitter's going to be all mine, which means that I get to set every while. The private company can set
Mhm.
its own rules, etc. Twitter as a public company has more of a need to be more rigorous in that, because if you are the
Mhm.
public square and it is a public company, then you need to protect people from that sort of speech. That's why they banned Donald Trump, they banned Marjorie Taylor Greene, they banned Donald Trump for promoting violence, they banned her for misinformation, they banned other people, mostly
Mhm.
based on these hot topic issues. So then that's when it starts to look like a right versus left. That's when Twitter starts to look
Yeah.
like who are so does the public company, they get to decide what the truth is.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
because
then
so that's what I mean about a slippery slope because I'm like, do I think that if there is a truth and a lie and someone is spreading the lie, but there's an objective truth and someone is fact checking it, yeah, like they should obviously, lose some right. There's terms of use, like don't violate the terms of use.
TOS.
But what if who's doing the judging? Who's gonna be there? Who's the gatekeeper and all of what truth and lies are and all of that and but I wouldn't want it to be fully private and be the wild wild west where we can just all of a sudden, be fucking racist and crazy. So I don't know. I don't know, man. Oh man.
It's a
That's a
trick.
hard one.
I don't know.
What do you
Well,
think?
I honestly, and Elon Musk is a billionaire, like a super billionaire.
Mhm.
He comes from like apartheid South Africa. I wasn't it his parents were like diamond miners or something
Oh
like
God. Yeah.
like he's got the backstory of a supervillain, right? And
Mhm.
of like a privileged supervillain. And a lot of Tesla growth was based on taxpayers funding the bill. So
Yeah.
and I don't know, then he during that whole thing where he was sued because he called out some dude a pedophile, and then he went to court and won. Like he just seems like a piece of shit on it to
Yeah,
me.
no,
He
I
ju-
don't doubt that. I feel like he is definitely a supervillain. He like rich men just scare the shit out of me, man. I don't know.
Yeah, and then he says I'm starting to vote Republican, so you're going to see a bunch of stuff come out at me. And then it gets leaked that he had a $250,000 settlement because he allegedly exposed himself to somebody on his private plane. And then he
Mhm.
goes out and he challenges the woman to describe his dick.
Oh God.
and and so, well, I'm thinking like, well, I think it's more probable that you knew the story was going to leak,
Mhm.
so you got ahead of it by saying I vote Republican, so the Democrats are going to start to say stuff about me, rather than the other way around. I think it's a lot
Mhm.
more likely that he caught a glimpse that it was going to drop, rather than the reason that it dropped was because he said he was going to vote. Because I think honestly, it doesn't. The margins are so thin. It is
Mhm.
so difficult to change somebody from voting left to voting right now. I
Mhm.
think that there's less and less people that can go either way now, because if you're saying you could go either way, that means you're okay with two really big extremes.
Mhm.
Don't you agree?
Yeah, no, I agree on that. What extreme are you more leaning towards?
I mean, I think it's better to be ruled by cucks than ruled by the devil. So if we can only have one or the other,
Yeah.
then I vote left. But they're really just
Well,
they're a shell of
on the
themselves.
Twitter freedom of speech aspect though.
Oh, on the Twitter freedom of speech, I mean, do I think Twitter would be more fun if Trump was still on it? Probably. Um, but but I also think that seeing how easily so many people jumped onto Trump's bandwagon,
Mhm.
even though he was the direct antithesis of what they were. They're poor, he's super rich. They live in
Mhm.
the fucking woods, he lives in a literal golden apartment. They
Yeah.
love fucking Jesus and the Bible and they fucking do quotes. He couldn't say three words together that were in the Bible.
No.
They asked him like, "Are you Old Testament, New Testament?" Both. I don't like, like he literally has never cracked. He never has opened the Bible. He's
He holds it upside down. He's not reading it right.
he's literally like Joe Biden goes to the church every week. Obama
Mhm.
went to church every week. They were 8 billion times. But to any person that's a true believer, it's the complete opposite. And
Mhm.
it is so weird how, and I don't know if it's a cult of personality, but so weird how people gravitated to him so strong. And part of that was not only Twitter but Facebook, and Facebook showing you these arguments
Oh
and
yeah.
pushing all this stuff here. Um, but I mean I think we get what we deserve. And if people are stupid enough that they believe all that,
Yeah.
I think rather than to ban it or try to get ahead of it, you try to counter it with other information.
Yeah.
And I think it's almost impossible for a social media company like what Twitter does the thing now where if you try to retweet an article before you click on the link, it's like, hey, you sure you don't want to read that first?
Oh, I love that.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, you know what I mean? Like, or hey, we have some countering information to what you're about to
Do you want to
retweet.
read
Would you like
that?
to?
Oh, I
Would
love
you?
that. That's great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so I think the left was freaked out a little bit about Elon buying Twitter because he's like he's gonna let all the fucking Nazis back on,
Mhm.
he's gonna let Trump back on. It's gonna be a wild west. People are gonna be able to shout at you down, and then the truth of the matter is that Twitter is just a big part of that is nothing but bots.
Mhm.
Oh wait, did this person? Hold on a second. Oh wow.
Mhm.
Okay, I was gonna show this bot, but they changed they because they had the weirdest fucking image,
Mhm.
and I think they took it down. Give me a second. So
Okay.
the bots might be oh no, they still have it up. Okay,
All
here's a
right.
bot. It says heritage, not hate, on both sides.
Oh, great.
So this is a thing that the South says a lot. It's heritage. It's not hate. We wear the we like the flag because it's our heritage, not but we say.
Yeah.
So they're equating that to the Nazi flag,
Mhm.
which I don't know why you would want to. Is this like a pro-Nazi thing, or I don't know what this is.
It looks I know, I'm very confused. It looks like somebody who's against the um
Is
yeah,
this
it
like an?
looks like I think it's an anti thing, right? Because like you're comparing it to
Then they put that. Then they
Nazis.
put change my mind. Change my mind. But no, no, this is
Oh,
definitely
never
a hair.
mind.
Change my mind. Okay. Uh,
God.
liberals are look. This is a classic right wing. Liberals are saying the American flag is offensive to Muslims. Share if you don't
You
give a
don't
damn.
give a damn.
Uh,
Oh my
uh,
God. The
I
shit
identify.
that the right cares about is so fucking hilarious. Oh my God.
I identify as non-binary. My pronouns are FJB. Let's go, Brent.
Okay, that's a little funny.
Okay.
Sorry. All right.
Oh yeah, taking back the rainbow.
Okay. All these people, I can't.
But this is a bot. This has to be a bot. Roman Catholic, Christian, conservative, straight, white, female, liberal, free zone, only two
Yeah.
genders, marriage is men and women. But their account is AB972843.
Oh God. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then you can see stuff like, okay, that's their name, and then they retweet a bunch of like Newsmax stuff. Donald Trump belongs to no, this is give me a thumbs up if you think Stephen King is correct. This is weird. And then
I'm
there
gonna
was
make a
there
far left fake Twitter.
you would have to. So wait, there was another one here. Oh, okay, yeah, this is June is Christianity Month. Reclaim the rainbow.
Okay. Taste the rainbow.
Yeah, they're trying to take June is Christianity Month. Crossover
It
pride.
stop trying to make fetch happen. No one likes Christianity, you guys. It's not as fun.
Yeah, it's not as fun as gay.
Yeah, no, each generation gets more and more secular and less religious. So keep trying. It's cute. You know.
So anyway, he buys Twitter. There's a big craziness. Then he says the sale might be off. Then everybody starts freaking out. The left starts saying, "Well, we're off of Twitter. We're off of Twitter." Now then he's like, "Oh, I want to see how many bots there are." Well, there's tons of bots. Everybody knows there's
Mhm.
tons of bots. And so now it's just that debate. But for me, at the end of the day, even if Elon buys Twitter, I'm staying on. I still think it is a platform where you can grow an audience and where you can
Mhm.
be part of the discussion. If we're comparing Twitter to Facebook, from Twitter, I have gotten booked guests for my show. I booked a seven-time NFL All-Star and NFL Hall of Famer. I booked
Mhm.
a poker player, with like millions of dollars in earnings. I booked actors, producers. I've met people. I've joined writing groups. I've been to events. I've done a lot of stuff from Twitter.
Yeah.
On Facebook, I've seen stupid arguments. I keep up with my friends from high school. I
Yeah.
get to see which of my crazy aunts and friends are actually really insane.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's
and
great.
I've gotten laid, so it's a toss
Ooh.
up. It's a toss up.
Mhm.
I'm,
Yeah, it's a toss-up. Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
saying it's pretty close. Which
Yeah.
one of the two platforms I like? So I'm gonna stay on myself. I'll be
Yeah.
out there braving it. I'll report
Yes, please
um,
do, because
for all you people who are too scared to be on there. I will report back and let you know what's happening. I mean,
yeah.
you can find niche communities. It's not a bad place to be. I mean, and also if you just want to avoid certain topics, words, there's ways on all social media platforms to do that.
Mhm.
You can mute words, you can mute topics. If you don't want to see people, don't search them out. So,
Yeah. Yeah. I like Twitter. I don't use it that much.
mhm.
I use Instagram and TikTok more, but like Twitter, I'll stay on. I barely use it. I post like once a month. I don't know. So, yeah.
Well, you're good. You're good.
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah. It's fun. But I don't know. I also don't want to support Elon though. I really hate him. I just don't like the guy. He's a rich asshole supervillain. I'm fucking terrified of him.
Yeah, that's the other part, which is if I mean, you look at Bezos. Owns
Oh, I don't
Amazon. Bezos owns the Washington Post.
Mhm.
So rich assholes owning media companies, that's never like it's never great, right?
Yeah, no. I know. I really am not fucking liking this whole living in late stage capitalism thing. I don't like it here. It is terrible. The rich own everything and we are powerless. We're powerless, you guys, and we're all gonna die because the climate
Yeah,
is going to shit and we're just all poor and struggling. Yeah.
it sucks. And yeah, late stage capitalism fucking sucks
Yeah. Bring back the middle class, damn it.
because as you know, well, yeah, and companies are making a shitload of money, but one thing goes up and they're like, "Oh, inflation."
Hmm. I know. I
We're
know.
not gonna we're definitely not gonna make less profit. So
Yeah.
what'll happen is you guys will pay more
Exactly. Yeah.
because
Yeah. Yeah.
we could each take a little bit less money. We're already fucking rich,
Yeah.
but our shareholders need to keep seeing gains. So instead of saying, okay, instead of our profit margin being 58% and it's going to be 52%, we're going to
Mhm.
keep ours at 58% and we're just going to increase your price.
Yeah,
You
no,
know,
exactly. Because why? Why would I pay taxes as a billionaire? It makes no
because
sense. What do you mean?
yeah, I mean, until we all start eating the rich, I mean, shit's not going to
I
change.
am getting there. I am getting there. I think that the far right has gotten really crazy, but they're like their anger is misplaced, you know? Like they're focusing on the dumb shit like like the gay Christianity stuff. I'm like, I don't care, be religious, be gay. I don't give a fuck. What I care about is rich people fucking paying their taxes. How about that?
Yeah.
Like y'all don't understand the reason why Trump got very popular is because he had the outrage culture to him, but it's all misplaced. Y'all should not be mad at making America great again and family values and all that stuff. That's all secondary. That could be, that's whatever values you believe in. What we need to focus on is to be anti like people like Trump, because all he is he's feeding this rhetoric of religion and family and whatever, but he is also one of the richest man. One of the richest man ever or in the world or whatever the fuck. I don't know where he's at, but he's fucking rich. He just wanted to be president so he can double his fucking income. And I'm sick of it. I'm sick of rich people. I am tired of late stage capitalism. I don't like
And
it.
I mean, he got all the secrets. He sold all the fucking guns to Saudi, or he sold the military
He
stuff. You know,
sold, yeah.
he got a kickback on that somehow.
Oh, for
Uh,
sure. Nepotism.
yeah,
He also got what, like all his family a bunch of deals, and it's just he didn't do anything for the middle class, and now you guys are all still like you still see him as like a god or something. Like I don't understand. He did nothing
yeah, he didn't do shit.
but
And
stock up the Supreme Court with fucking radicals.
which brings us to our
Good
next point.
segue.
Which great segue there.
Thank you.
Great segue there, Miss Sophia. Yeah. So the end result of this is people are stupid. They vote against their own self interest. They voted
Yeah.
for a rich piece of shit.
Mm.
Then both the Democrats and Republicans are complete fucking hypocrites, as you can tell because they switch sides on the exact same argument, which was Republicans said that you shouldn't approve a Supreme Court appointee during the last part of administrations. They said it would be a lame duck appointment and that the people would do it. So they didn't let Obama put in Garland.
Mhm.
And then Trump gets to make several appointments. And at the end, they switch sides and the Republicans say, oh, no, we're going to do it. And the Democrats are like, no, no, no. And they literally just changed arguments,
Yeah.
you know? Now, regardless of who you think was right, it is 100% proof that they're just all fucking full of shit. Anyway,
Mhm.
but yeah, so that leaves us to the point where, and let me just check the year, 2022,
What?
uh, and Roe v. Wade has been in the law, a law for like 30, 40 years, right?
Mhm.
They have leaked that it looks like the Supreme Court is going to reverse Roe v. Wade, which is going to throw abortion debates back to the states.
Yeah.
And again, the Democrats are cucks, the Republicans are literal devils. Uh, Democrats think that as long as they keep the higher ground, This isn't fucking Star Wars. That as long as they keep the higher ground, that everything's going to be okay for them. That people will vote for
Mhm.
them as long as they're sort of the party that keeps the higher ground, which is bullshit. What the
Yeah.
Republicans do is they just fucking win. Even when they lose, they win.
It would.
Oh,
Yeah.
we're losing elections. Well, we're gonna keep the fucking. We're not gonna pull the filibuster card unless we have to. Instead,
Mhm.
we'll gerrymander the fuck out of all our local elections.
Yeah.
We'll get super majorities in fucking states where we have Democratic mayors and governors,
Mhm.
and we'll go back and make it so that we can just win. Doesn't matter what happens, we'll just keep fucking winning and getting our point across. There's already laws in the books in several states that state the moment that Roe v. Wade overturns, abortions become 100% illegal in this state. They've already the wheels are in motion.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah. So basically, sucks to be you. I mean, sorry. Uh,
Sucks to be a woman, am I right? Well, look at all the forced. Look at all the forced men that are going to become fathers as well. I always like to appeal to that because, like, yeah, my brother and I were talking about it, and I'm like, well, I mean, if you got a girl pregnant, low key, you'd want her to abort, right? Like, you're not ready to be that. He's like, oh fuck, you're right. Like, yeah, well, yeah.
yeah.
It's about agency. It's about body autonomy. It's about having the right to fucking choose. The way I see it is it's not pro-life, it's fucking pro-forced pregnancy. Because you don't care about the kid once it's out of the mom's body. You just
No.
care that she is forced to incubate this fucking thing that she doesn't want. And then after that, I don't give a fuck because we're guess what? We're not gonna invest in public programs. We're not gonna care I mean fucking school. Like we're not gonna invest any money in school.
Yeah.
We're not anything. Social programs to help you care for it. Even adoption is like adoption and foster care is like such a crazy process that you're like there are no resources to have the luxury of forcing someone to have a fucking child. There just isn't. So the choice to terminate, yeah, that's way better. And it's like I see it the way of like on the spectrum, I feel like forced pregnancy is at the fucking end. It is very like fucking yeah, it's just it seems extreme to me. And then at the other end of the spectrum would be a forced abortion, right? Because I can preach, hey, maybe there's antinatalist people out there that exist and are believe that we should not procreate at all. So I would forced abortion is on this end, and then forced pregnancy is on this end. Pro choice is the middle. It's the fucking choice to either have a baby or not, depending on where you're at. And it's just pisses me off, man. Grinds my gears.
It really grinds your gears.
Really
Right,
grinds my
and you're
gears.
100% right. The the same people that are very staunch anti-abortion are
Mhm.
also the same type of people that will rag on welfare mothers and
Mhm.
say, well, can't they just get off fucking welfare with these fucking people having all these fucking kids and having welfare? So you can't have it both ways.
Why
You
are my
can't
taxes
say,
so high? Why is it going to
yeah,
yeah.
why are they giving these women EBT cards? Why blah 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 blah. Pull
Mhm.
yourself by your bootstrap. And again, the whole body autonomy thing is exactly like, look, like I am pro vaccine, because that is my specific circumstances that I was
Mhm.
pro it. But did I ever feel that people should be forced vaccinated? No, absolutely not. What we
Exactly.
were talking about is doing what is better for the greater good, and for the greater good of humanity throughout the years. Polio, smallpox, the measles, all these
Mhm.
other monkeypox, which making a comeback, all these things. That we found out through science, we've decided to vaccinate each other so that we help people out. And the
Mhm.
crystal mommy started the non-vax thing. Shout out Laura and all the other crystal mommies out there. But it's become such a fucking thing, that now they think that is the same as that. So you can't be on both sides of the same. You can't. You have
Mhm.
to. At some point, you have to realize you're a hypocrite. At some
Yeah.
point, you have to realize that you are thinking about things in the wrong way, or that you're a hypocrite, or one of the other things. So it is important for the gray area, the middle people, to sort of because it's a plus. it's a 75% issue. 75% of the people in the U.S. believe that Roe v. Wade should stay on the books and that abortion should be legal on a federal level.
Yeah.
It's there, and somehow they're still winning on that issue.
Yeah. The fact that the Supreme Court, that one fucking human being got to stack three positions in the Supreme Court is insanity. Like, we don't have a voice. The majority of American citizens like don't have a voice in the Supreme Court, and that's fucking scary because they can make any laws. I'm like, I have a feeling the whole gay marriage thing is going away soon as well.
They're going after everything. They're going to go after contraception. They're going to go after gay marriage. They're going to go
Hmm.
after everything.
Yeah, I love living in California, but like, man, I weep for the poor women um in fucking Mississippi. I don't know, somewhere like that where they're just gonna have to be forced to fucking have a bunch of children that they can't afford, no resources. Like, oh my god. And then they're also anti like sex ed, and it's like, okay, no contraception. Okay, fine. Maybe I won't get pregnant, but like don't fucking force people to be abstinent. Like, I hate when people use religion and shove it down your throat so that you can live a life that they approve of. Like, whatever happened to like um cada quien. Like, I don't know. It pisses
This
me
is
off,
the
man.
land of freedom
Yeah, exactly.
as long as those freedoms are the ones that I'm good with.
Yeah, I'm free to tell you what the fuck to do.
The freedoms
So,
that are free here are the good Christian freedoms.
yes, exactly.
Freedom to be racist, freedom to have
Mhm.
heritage flags,
Marry my cousin.
marry your cousin, Willie. Um,
Yeah,
watch NASCAR.
yeah.
I don't know. What's the other thing? Here we are being racist against the
Um,
racists. How dare us?
whatever. I'm pissed. But yeah, oh man, this is terrible. And like, I'm lucky that I'm at an age where like even if I had an oopsie pregnancy, I think I'd keep it. I'm old. Um, but man, this would have fucking scared the shit out of me if I was like sexually active young person,
Don't threaten me with
early
a good
20.
time, Uncle Lou.
Yeah.
I'm a good uncle. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm good. I'm a good
Oh,
uncle.
you're gonna be a great uncle. I'm nowhere
Um,
near pregnant, by the way, guys. Like,
okay.
nowhere near it. It's
I'm
fine.
just saying. I'm saying. Yeah, and then I guess, and then the options moving forward is try to figure out a way to codify Roe v. Wade, and then the Democrats obviously still have a problem because they have a designated asshole, Manchin and the Arizona broad. Uh, who
Mhm.
are like the designated turd in the punch bowls, which means even if they were able to get something passed, they will always find something wrong with it. The same Manchin held up the Build Back Better plan, which had a bunch of immigration stuff in there that they couldn't get through, and a bunch of other stuff. And of course, Latinos get fucked again because Democrats are fucking pieces of shits. They're horrible. They're horrible. They
Mhm.
run on immigration, and they want to continue to run on immigration. So they talk and talk and talk, but never actually get shit done.
No.
They were worried about a parliamentarian that has a hired position that can get fired and replaced at will, but they want to do things that they want to do things the right way rather than get shit done.
Mhm.
That is who they are. That is what they do, and that is why you and I are more are done with them.
I just wanna move to Iceland and just be happy there.
They're such pieces of shit. But imagine how big of a piece of shit Republicans are. That even though Democrats are fucking useless,
Yeah, they're useless. They
they're
really are.
still they're still the only thing is that there are redeeming people inside of the Democratic Party that
Mhm.
sort of make them sort of at least progressively do things that are not super evil,
Yeah.
and in their goal to be perceived as the woke and progressive party, even though they're not, they do sometimes have to do things that are not 100% evil, whereas Republicans' entire thing is freedom, and let's continue to be evil, and let's make it
Yeah,
1950 again.
exactly.
Literally, they want it to be 1950 again.
Oh, yeah.
They want a post-war baby boom. They want 1950 fucking American values, segregation, the whole shebang bang. That's what
Yeah.
they want. That's what
Women
they wish,
shouldn't vote. Stay in the kitchen.
and obviously that's not happening again. And they're scared shitless of becoming the minority, because they know how minorities are treated. It
Mhm.
is very simple. When you're on top of the entirety of humanity, and then you're like, wait a minute, we could be here. We
Mhm.
we shit on those people. We can't go there. We need to fight
Yeah.
this shit tooth and nail. And then you have horrible shit happening all around the world, like the Buffalo guy, the white replacement theory, and
Yeah.
that all comes from that as well. So again, end stage capitalism is where we're at.
Yep.
This is what happens when you play Monopoly at the end, and
When
this
you have
is yeah
0.1% of
yeah.
that have like what, like 90 something percent of the wealth. It's insane.
We're 2 hours away from we're 2 hours into a Monopoly game, and we got like no money, and
No money.
we got no money for rent. The rent is extremely high, and we know we're about to fucking have to call it quits in any
Yeah.
second now. Any roll of the dice that we do that comes out bad is fucking us for life right now.
Yeah.
So we're pretty much fucked. Which so again,
Sounds about right. Love living in Cali.
live your life, love the people around you, have good memories, make some art,
Mhm.
do what you can to get through it, man.
Yeah.
Because, whether, and we're also hurling through space.
Why did you get so existential?
We're also hurling through space on a rock, rotating another fire rock,
Yeah.
surrounded by other solar systems through an infinite, vast unknown.
Yeah.
Where we
Everything's
could
subjective and nothing matters. Yes, we're
we
all gonna
could
die.
we could crash into something at any point. Something could crash into
Oh God,
us.
let's hope.
It would be like none of this matters. Go watch a
Hope?
movie. Go make some art.
Yeah, we're on a big
Love
ass
it.
rock,
Tell
guys.
your crush you love them. Like
Oh, that was
go
very cute.
go
Yeah, shoot your shot.
shoot your shot. Make the movie. Write the book.
Yeah,
Quit your job. And fucking do
love
your
that.
thing, man.
This is a great TED talk.
Work just enough to live, and then just fucking live your life.
Exactly.
Because what the fuck, right?
Ah, I approve this message.
All right, that brings us to mental health check-in.
Oh my God.
I just want to say this, that I think that one of the things that I think society is doing good, is doing a lot better this day, and this is kind of similar to the Amber Heard thing, and I'll
Hmm.
get to that in a second. But we're doing a much better job as a society and as a generation, the younger people, of really taking into account mental health. You know,
Hmm.
I think that, and I experienced that recently, because I think if if you lost somebody maybe 10, 15 years ago, I think people initially are there for you and stuff like that. But I think that over the last 5 years or so, it's become so in the culture and so acceptable to reach out when you're not feeling the best.
Hmm.
And I think that people are much more in tune with people's actions, and and kind of trying to sniff out when people are having issues, you
Hmm.
know and I'm glad that it's acceptable for friends to check in on each other more. We talked about this, about a month or so back, when, well, for my birthday, when we were talking about it, and
Yeah.
everybody was, and we all got together. We hadn't seen each other in a long time, group about
Yeah.
7 to 10 of us, and everybody sort of kind of like, without necessarily us prompting it, when we got together, everybody, "Oh, what you been doing?" And everybody sort of was giving the mental health, like, check down, like, not only talking
Yeah.
about like what I've been doing, what projects I'm working on, but also like, yeah, I've been working on myself, and I've been doing this, and this is keeping me going, and I was having some issues with this and that and
Hmm.
stuff like that. So I really think that it's awesome that's happening with friends. And I think that there's the taboo of sort of speaking about that and being honest with those things, has been sort of broken in a good way and positive way.
Hmm.
So I hope that's something that continues to happen, and I hope that but of course, there's still some people that, like, don't
Of
talk about that.
course, yeah.
Don't be a
There's
pussy.
always going to be a little bit of both. But I think you're right. I think the stigma for mental health and just kind of like the transparency of like, okay, we can. It's much more accepted now to share and to receive that information and kind of check in. Like, I love how you called it a mental health check in because that's totally what it was, and it wasn't prompted and it wasn't planned. It was one of those things where you just, I think, yeah, like 5 to 10 years ago, when you ask somebody like, "Oh, have you been, man?" And they're like, "Oh, I'm good." And then you talk about the positive things and you suppress the negative. and it was really cute to like just kind of be like, "Oh, how you doing?" But like, "How are you?" You know?
Mhm.
And everyone was just actually saying like, "Actually, I'm kind of depressed. I felt this way. I went through this, and this was blah 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 blah." And we were all just so receptive and like, positive and supportive, and it was just so nice. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Which brings me to my point, and this is something that happened in sports recently, which
Mhm.
is the Ben Simmons thing. And I told you to look into it, which is basically Ben Simmons, for people that don't know, basketball player from Australia. I think he's from Australia, or he played in Australia, that plays in Philadelphia for the 76ers. The thing with Ben Simmons is he is a really good basketball player in terms of his defense, his skills, his dribbling, his passing, but he can't shoot for shit. He can't shoot. He's scared to shoot. He doesn't. He passes wide open shots. He doesn't. He prepares to try to do that. So when you can't shoot and somebody's guarding you, they don't get close to you. They stand back, etc. Blah
Mhm.
blah. So even if you're a bad shooter, there's points in basketball where the right move is for you to shoot because it's going to move, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Ben Simmons has a horrible playoffs. 2 years ago in the playoffs, at the end of a game, he doesn't shoot the ball. He makes some silly mistakes. He passes up like open shots to try to do this. He shot like 3 or 4 times the whole series. He didn't have a good series. Basically, in Philadelphia, really let him have it because Philly is a tough sports town.
Mhm.
He then demanded a trade after he had signed like a 5-year contract for like 100 and something million. He said he didn't want to play in Philly anymore. He said, I'll play anywhere, but I won't play Philly. Philly says, you know what? We're not going to trade you unless we get a lot in return. We're just not going to do what you want. You have a contract with us for 5 years. If you don't show up, we're going to start fining you money. You're not hurt. You're not nothing. So they play hardball right back at him. Because he had a long-term contract with the team, and
Mhm.
then he says you can't. Then at some point, so that they'll stop taking his money, he says, and this is and like he might be the Amber Heard of mental health here,
Oh God.
is he says, you can't take my money because the reason I'm not playing is because of my mental health, right?
Oh, okay.
So he wants out of Philadelphia. He knows that if he plays another game in Philadelphia, because they perceive him as weak, he's going to be booze and whatnot. And Philly fans are fucking brutal. They booed Santa Claus. And so they think, then he says, even though I'm not playing for the team, even though I'm not showing up for the team kept saying, like, no, we're not going to trade you. You need to show up to work. We're not trading you. And if you don't show up to work, we're going to fine you.
Mhm.
And if you have medical issues that you have, then we want our trainers to see you. And if you don't show up for those training sessions, we're going to keep finding you. We're not going to pay you. So he brought up the mental health card, and was the first
Mhm.
time that a major athlete played that card, as, and this was how it was perceived, as a way to get out of, because if you're injured and you can't play, you still get paid, right?
Mm.
NBA contracts are mostly guaranteed for those sorts of things. But if you just don't show up to work, they can fine you, take your money. He says, no, I'm hurt. I'm just hurt mentally.
Mm. Okay.
So this is what led to people thinking that he was faking it, that he was using mental health as a card to get out of to get out of them taking his money, because it was a lot of
Mhm.
money. Like every game he missed was costing them like $250,000 or something like that. And he's now suing them to get that money back, because I think at the end of the day it was like 19 million or 11 million or some big amount of money that they still took away from him until they got the A result. At the end, they basically traded him to Brooklyn. They traded him to Brooklyn for another player, and he
Mhm.
never played in Brooklyn because he said he wasn't ready to play, and then he said he hurt his back, and then so he hasn't played basketball in like 2 years, but
Oh
he's on
wow.
another team now. And then people were saying that as soon as he got traded to Brooklyn, all of a sudden he started showing up and he was smiling. So then sportscasters were having an issue because they were trying to decide whether they could just call him out on him.
Mhm.
Because you can't just say you were smiling in that picture. You couldn't have been depressed
Yeah. No.
because people share that on social media. This was my husband. He was smiling. He was playing with his kids. He killed
Yeah.
himself 2 days later. Right? We're all aware of that. So it brought this weird sort of conversation, but it played out in like a sports talk world. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Which is kind of like a weird place for that conversation to take place. Which is, we've made so many advancements in understanding mental health and being open about it to where we understand that athletes are now, because it was always an athlete all the time that I grew up was, you admire the athletes that had issues but kept playing.
Mhm.
Like, remember Brett Favre's died and he played on Monday Night Football and he threw like 4 touchdowns, and they're like, can you imagine a player's father dying and then him playing the same day today? Like, I don't think
No.
now there's a bereavement list in every sport, has a bereavement list where you can go and take time off because of that.
Mhm.
And but growing up, all these people, you had to be tough to play sports. You had to get mentally tough. You couldn't take time off. Now athletes are taking time off. They don't want to do interviews. They're protecting their mental health. But
Mhm.
the Ben Simmons part was the first one that sort of smelled funny,
Mhm.
because he didn't say nothing about his mental health until they started to take his money away, and then he said, no, I'm dealing with mental health issues. And then they're like, well, you need to go talk to our shrinks, and he's like, no. And then they were fighting about it, etc., and it's still
Also,
going
he
on.
didn't wanna talk to their shrink.
Yeah, he wanted to stay away from the team until they traded him because he wanted to be traded, but he also
Mhm.
wanted to keep getting paid.
Ugh, see, that's when it gets a little hard. Oh, man. Man, that's really hard because and the mental health issue, I'm assuming, is he just stated that he was, what, feeling, like, depressed because of the bullying he was getting from the town and the
It was
teammates?
non-specific. It was just more like
It was just,
general,
like,
I'm
mental health
having I'm
issues.
having mental health issues.
Okay.
And basically he had a bad he didn't play good. The fans were on him. He said, I don't want to play in Philly again. Trade me anywhere. I don't want to play here again.
Mhm.
They didn't trade him because they're like, well, we're not going to just trade you and get like 10 cents on the dollar.
Yeah.
We'll trade you for another star. We're going to wait it out. In the meantime, we want you to play for us.
Yeah.
No, well, my head hurts. Well, not the outside of my head, the inside of my head hurts.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, that's rough because mental health is unfortunately something that you can choose to fake, and I feel like he would have to get diagnosed with something though. It feels like he should have gone diagnosed with something for him to continue to get pay. Um, but like a contract is a contract. I don't know. Oh man, it's difficult. Something smells funky about this. You're right. I don't know. Ben
Yeah.
Simmons. That's crazy. I hadn't heard of that.
Yeah. So that's why I said, jokingly, that it could be like the Amber Heard of sports and mental health,
Yeah.
because it's we are supposed to, and I think it
Hmm.
is the right thing to err on the side of that, believe people when they're saying that they need to separate from something because they need a mental health break, because we've seen
Hmm.
so many people that have taken steps after that, and it's something that affects everybody, right?
Yeah.
Obviously.
Of course.
So, I think that, although I think Ben Simmons and Amber Heard is
Yeah.
like, the price that we pay for trying to do things the right way, whereas
Hmm.
before we didn't. So there
Yeah.
will be Amber Heards, there will be Ben Simmons that may cry wolf, or that may not be 100% truthful, but I still think that it's a good thing that we're defaulting to believing people about their mental health, and believing
Yeah.
women about their experiences with assault.
Hmm.
There's gonna be some people that are fucking lying. There's gonna be people that are, there's everything in the world. There is somebody that will take advantage of it.
Yeah. Every
Just
group,
like,
every community, there's always some bad apples.
yeah, or
So.
or people that are gonna, yeah. There's the person that will say, oh, I'm a woman now. Treat me like a woman. And try to
Hmm.
take advantage. There will be one person that does that, right? For real.
Hmm.
But just the, and we all know that's a possibility, but we like to think, I wouldn't do that, but they know somebody will because I thought about it. So,
Yeah.
right. So, and that's what scares people. That's what people use to scare people into like transgender bathroom bills and stuff like that,
Yeah.
because you think about it. Well, why doesn't somebody just say there, and then they can go into the men's room, or you know and but that's what they prey on. They prey on those fears that people have.
Yeah.
So anyway, I just thought it was an interesting topic.
Yeah, no, that's it's layered. It's for sure layered because I think I would much rather have all of these resources and to know that it's more acceptable to talk about mental health, and he
Mhm,
should, if he's not crying wolf, then he should get the help that he needs. My thing is, I don't know about the getting paid to that
mhm,
extent, right? Because I recently had something mental health situation with work.
mhm,
And it's not to say that you can't tough it out. I'm sure there's plenty of people that live every day with mental health issues and stuff like that. But I immediately was like, I'm not going to work. I can't do this. Like, I'm gonna stay home. And at first, I had to fight for that because at first it was not, the days weren't covered. There was a few days that I was just like, I just, mental health comes first. I'm sorry, I'm not going. And I just took the L. I was like, all right, I'm not getting paid, but that's fine. I'm taking days. Um, so for me, it's the but you're still wanting to make millions and millions of dollars. Like, I'm not weeping for you, you know? Like, I don't know. I'm sorry you're going through stuff, but it's hard. Like, bro, like I don't know. I'm over here trying to get like pennies and nickels and dimes, and you're fighting. Okay, you're first of all breaching a contract, but you're still wanting to get paid because mental health, but you won't see a shrink. You won't allow yourself to get diagnosed. That's the biggest difference with Amber Heard, where I got a lot of respect for her, because Johnny Depp didn't allow, or he didn't approve to seeing a psychologist or psychiatrist. He said no. So I don't know what the fuck he's going through mentally, and it's very hard for him to build a case, right? Whereas Amber Heard was like, "Fucking diagnose me, do anything you want." So they had a psychologist from that Depp hired, which fucking was a terrible diagnosis. 16 hours she saw. Yeah, I think it was like 16 hours that she saw her, and then came up with all of these diagnoses that later on Johnny Depp admitted that, because he had written down that that was his handwriting, that that was what she had before she even met Amber, the psychologist. So anyway, discounted all that, like the proof against that psychologist was crazy. And then there was another one that was not hired by anyone. It was like by the court or whatever. And she did like, I forgot how many hours. It was a lot more than 16 hours though. And she did not diagnose her with goddamn shit. She was like, she's depressed, she's fucking sad, she's mentally just, whatever, but no disorders. So I was like, well, I trust that shit a lot more. Anyway, sorry, I don't know why I went on that side rant. Oh, right, because I think it says a lot about a person when you're like, "Hey, yeah, fucking diagnose me. There's something wrong," versus no. So Ben Simmons, I don't know, man. Maybe he didn't trust the shrink, but I also think that he needs some sort of diagnosis, something formal, if you want to keep getting paid, because that's when we get a little
yeah.
more,
No, I
objective
think
about it.
if you're in a high profile position like that, you're an athlete, you're getting paid literally 20-30 million dollars a year to play a sport or to do
Hmm.
anything, and then it's a guaranteed I mean, for most people, also the way you look at it is, you don't show up, you have a certain amount of sick days, but then
Hmm.
but if you're saying this is a mental health injury and it counts as a general injury and you just pay me to stay, I think it was just co- congruence, or the combination of the things that are happening that sort of
Hmm.
makes it a weird story, because the way it looks is that he pulled that card to stop them from finding him and stop him from getting paid. And so it's
Hmm.
kind of hard when somebody says that, because that,
Yeah.
it's like the wife getting I don't know, it
Going to
kind
a
of is.
doctor's now. I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
See?
Hey,
Yeah.
thought it was interesting to bring that up.
Hmm.
Made for an interesting conversation.
Yeah.
Moving right along, the last couple of topics we have here is one that you brought up today, which was
Hmm.
prayer in school, which is obviously.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So there was I don't know how long ago, maybe like a couple of weeks ago, there was a story coming out of, I think it was Washington, where a high school coach, he is a Christian man of faith,
Mhm,
and he does this thing where he prays in center field before every game. Eventually, yeah, yeah. So eventually, all the kids on the team started to congregate around him, and then it just became a thing on the team that you would do a prayer before the game. Um, and now all the teammates do that. And I don't think he lost his job, but I do think he was being like investigated because they told him not to do that. They were like, "Hey, separation of church and state. Maybe you could pray in your private time, but don't do it on center field, right before a game." people
Mhm.
in the stands, and then force your, a team, your team to do it. And a lot of people stood by him and said that he should be allowed to pray in public in school before a game. And
Are they saying that the field is public grounds and not part of the school?
yeah, it's a well, no, it is. It's like it's part of public school. So they were like, and it's also within like a public setting as well. And I think where the biggest issue arose was the fact that some of the kids felt like they stated that they were feeling a little pressure to do it.
Mhm.
And so yeah, anyway, I just thought it was a good way of bringing up the conversation of, what do you think of praying in schools? Should schools, public schools, separate it, or do you think it's totally okay of him to do that?
Well, if it was a Catholic school, it would be completely okay, right?
Yeah, agreed.
Because it's a private institution, and you're going there knowing that they have some sort of thing. For a public school, I think that, I mean, like I said, this is what you want to go back to 1950, because I think from 1950 to like probably the 70s or something, it was probably commonplace. Even sports, a lot of teams that are large organizations will have like a team chaplain, just
Hmm.
out of pocket, just a team chaplain. Sports and religion is very intertwined. You can, at least 70% of sports interviews, when they talk to football players, basketball players, baseball players, after games, they'll say, this was an old, I don't forget who's a comedian that said a joke, but they always thank Jesus,
Yeah,
but they
like
never
like
blame.
Jesus. Yeah,
Yeah, I was like, but Jesus made me miss that jump shot. They never say that, right?
exactly.
So I think, so do I believe in a public high school if the coach is a man of deep faith and he likes to go out into, if nobody knows about it and it's a private thing for him, I don't have a problem with it.
Hmm.
Once he incorporates a team that might have different religious convictions or be agnostic or Muslim, or just unsure of how they feel religiously, like, I was confused about what kind of religion, if any, I wanted to follow my whole life.
Hmm.
I was never brought up as a devout anything. I was always
Hmm.
given the freedom to, do I have to go? I was asked, do I have to go to church? Not if you don't want to.
Hmm.
And of course, I said no. I'd rather stay home on Sundays and play video games and stuff like that. Um, but
Lucky you.
but yeah, all my cousins fucking hated me because they all had to get up early on Sundays and get dressed and go
Yep.
to church. And I'd be like, "Why isn't he going?" He's like, "Oh, he doesn't have to." And they're like, "Well, I don't know if I want to go to church either." And they're like, "Nope."
Go to church. Yeah.
Um, so for me, I think, like I said, if he's a coach and he likes to go take a prayer at center field every day, I have no problem with that. If there's other players that are super Christian and that they know because they know each other from church, and they're like, "Coach, do you mind if we go and pray with you?" Absolutely not. But if it becomes the elder members or the captains of the team saying, "Hey, we all pray together in center field before the game," I don't know why
Hmm.
we're making every Christian sound like a hillbilly, but I'm sorry. Uh, if the captain is saying that, and
Yeah.
or the team elders are saying, "Hey, you need to do this. This is what we do as a team,"
Hmm.
um, then that kind of is a weird part, because in some areas you do have to do shit that's team tradition
Hmm.
because it's beneficial to the team, even if it's a stupid
Right.
chant. Like some baseball teams are like, "All right, we got to. This is the chant we do," and then they're like, "All right, I don't. Okay, yeah, okay, we're on a
Yeah.
team. We'll do that." So, but the problem is that currently, because people are more free and feel more free to express themselves about what they're feeling mentally, this is going to keep popping up in different areas, because before, 99% of people would just go with it and say,
Hmm.
"Hey, yeah, this is what the team does, even though I don't believe it. I'm here." Like, sometimes you go to church, and even though you don't, you do the movements. Oh, we're
Hmm.
standing up now. Okay, we're sitting down. We're singing now. Okay, got it. Oh, there's lyrics here. Got it.
Hmm.
Like that's
Yeah.
what you go through the motions because you want to be part of the team. So some of that's kind of like on the lower spectrum of, oh my God, this should not trigger you as much, because if you're a part of this team, then you're going to have to do some stuff for that. But we're in a time when it's very easy for people to say, this is something that's annoying, that makes me sort of feel a certain type of way. So you shouldn't really force that upon people. I think that's the
Mhm.
line for me. If he wants to do it and there's people that are super, they're like, can I pray with you, coach? Yeah, cool. But if you start saying this is a team activity,
Mhm.
without taking that into account, then that's where I draw the line.
Oh, okay. I see that. Yeah, I think I would go a little further than you. I agree with you. The only step further would be even if there's other kids that are like, "Hey, I'm very religious as well. I would like to pray with you, coach." I disagree with that. I think that that should just not be allowed because
So you
there's a power dynamic right there, right? So the coach is in charge. If I want to kiss ass and I'm in high school and I think that that's the man that's in charge of giving me of like getting me into big colleges and scholarships, I'm gonna kiss ass and I'm gonna be like, "Hi, yeah." And now guess what? Now my teammates all feel pressured. Now all my teammates are kind of like forced to do this ritual. I just think it's best to have a clear separation of church and state. I think if it's something as public in a public school system, keep your faith away. Yeah, there might be Muslim kids, there might be, other people of other religions, and I just think that like it just feels forceful. Again, like why are Christians like this? Why must it's fine to pray, it's fine to have your rituals, but why must you be in the center field and kind of like, make it a team activity? As a mother, I would be like, "No, please don't do that." And now if I'm a kid who's like an atheist or something, or just like I have another, faith, I'm the asshole because I don't want to join you in center field. And now I'm ostracized. I just think that it would be I don't know. I think that it would be best to keep those 2 things separate, and that's not to say that he can't pray on school grounds, maybe even in the locker room. Like, honestly, if you wanna go do it in the locker room, I just think there's something about the showy aspect and the peer pressure that comes with, "Now I have to go stand by my coach
Well,
in
if
center
you
field."
if you see a lot of sports movies, and like I said, a lot of teams like hockey teams, baseball teams, they have a team chaplain that will pray with the entire team before a game. Like you've seen this in sports movies where they're like,
Mhm,
all right, now here's the chaplain. He's going to say a couple of words, and everybody will get down on a knee. But that's mostly pro sports, college sports, maybe big teams that would have like they have like a traveling chaplain, somebody that comes and
mhm,
literally their job is to pray with the team, because that's such a huge monolith of a religion, right?
mhm.
So if you're talking at the high school level, I hadn't thought about it from that aspect, that people would, oh, the coach is super religious, let's go
I'm
kiss
gonna
his
kiss my
ass,
yeah, like, he's
because
the one in charge of
he's
getting him into college. Of course, I'm gonna feel
uh,
pressured.
he's gonna play me over the guy who's better because
Yeah.
I'm okay. Yeah, that part of
Yeah,
it.
and now you have people that aren't Christian or other faiths, and he's outwardly kind of, saying like, "No, I'm gonna be a little more biased towards this guy
Because he prays, even though
because he
he can't
prays. He's a,
he
he's a Jesus following, Bible thumping man."
he can't hit a lick, but
Yeah,
he loves Jesus.
little Timmy, we love him. He prays. Yeah, no, I mean, certain things like that where it's like forced because I love freedom of speech, of course, but when it's like a forced belief that force stuff I don't like. Because also like Pledge of Allegiance, for example, I never liked it, I never understood it. Why the fuck am I forced as a child to stand up before class and pledge allegiance to this fucking flag? I don't have an allegiance to it. I don't understand it, you know? So forced speech, I don't like it. I don't like when people are like, you know, just pushing shit down my throat. And it does feel like that. It feels like that you have a man who is the coach, who is like respected and in a position of power, and he has these really strong beliefs, and unfortunately it's kind of being forced upon the kids whether they feel it or not, or it's just,
And I
and
bet you
I'm not opposed to the exposure. I'm sorry, but like I'm not opposed to the exposure of it, right? Like if they want to learn about Christianity, if he I would just say like, maybe the whole faith thing, keep it to yourself, you know? Don't push it onto others. You were saying.
now imagine now the people who are supporting the coach are probably
They're
conservative
very
right wing,
conservative.
very right
Yeah.
wing people. Now, what if the coach was Muslim and
Exactly.
he was going
Oh,
out and doing his prayers at center field before the game?
exactly. Like, what would the right be saying? Like, "Oh, he's indoctrinating our children, and we can't have that, and
We can't have no
can't
terrorist
have no
coach.
terrorists." Yeah, no, like,
We can't have Al
and
Qaeda
it's
coach,
insane because, like, I think in
Coach
one of
Qaeda.
in one you suck. In one of our episodes, we talked about the Don't Say Gay bill, right? And then
Yeah,
like how conservatives on the right are basically like they're indoctrinating our kids with all this gay rhetoric, and they can't they can't be teaching kids about none of that, and like blah blah blah, homophobic rhetoric, blah blah blah. We shouldn't be allowed to even talk about that gay queerness and gayness exists. If little Timmy has two mommies, we can't talk about it. Let's not talk about it. And yet now they flipped it, and it's like, no, well, when he's not allowed to pray in public and force religion onto children, um no, yeah, he should definitely be allowed to do that. And I'm like, what?
yeah,
What?
no,
But what if
doesn't work that way.
what if he had a husband and he kissed him in center field? Is that cool? Like, or would you be like, hey, you can't be
Yeah.
showing no queers here?
No, yeah, it's definitely devil stuff to be there, to be like, oh, it's okay because it's our
Yeah,
religion,
yeah, it's cool.
listen,
We
man,
do it.
everybody is a little bit is about well, people want to preserve the things that they like and what
Hmm.
they're about, and
Yeah,
that's where a lot of shit happens. It's human nature, but it's also human nature to evolve and be above that and say, hey, let's be about the things that we can agree on.
yeah, and
Um,
that's totally fair. I like listen. I am 100% pro exposure. I feel like everyone should be exposed to different ideals, and you choose what feels right. It's just when it's forced and when it's yeah, I guess I want to say inappropriate because it is what it is. It's a public school, and if I was signing my kid up for a Christian school,
mm,
I know what I'm getting. Public school, please keep your faith, to yourself, and
yeah, that
respectfully.
makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, moving
So
right along. As we're live here with Sophia. take
yes,
take a sip of my water real quick here.
yes, same.
Mm. um, the next thing I wanted to talk about here, and this is
Hmm.
my last major topic here, is that I kind of lost. I don't know if we're going to file this under never meet your heroes because I never met this person, but the what they say is don't every day there's a main protagonist and antagonist on Twitter. Don't be that person is how you should strive to do that. And somebody that I admired and was a big fan of took that role last week, and it was something that directly affected me. And that is a poker player, video maker, casino owner, not casino owner.
Hmm.
He owns a card room in Texas. Doug Polk got into some trouble, and this was a topic that was happening for a while because Jordan Peterson was also tweeting about
Jordan
it.
P,
Yeah,
baby.
yeah. And what I told him was anytime you're on
Ah,
this, anytime your take match, and what I tweeted was anytime your take matches Jordan Peterson's, you should probably rethink your position.
rethink your life. Yeah, yeah.
Um, and I had and Doug Polk, he's a huge poker player. He's one of the best heads up no limit poker players in the world. He has I even did some videos for his site Upswing Poker, and I've been on that site. I've always followed his videos.
Oh
He
no.
poker hands. I interviewed his partner Andrew Nemi on Fireside Chats, and him and another player now are partners in a poker room in Texas called the Lodge.
Hmm.
So I'm a huge fan of this guy, somebody whose videos I
Oh.
always watch and stuff several years. And then he comes out and he has this hot take, which is I understand we want to focus on positivity, body images, blah, 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 but putting obese people on the cover of Sports Illustrated sends a horrible message about health and well-being. And this was obviously the Yumi cover, body positivity, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Hmm.
Obviously, you're going to have different takes on what beauty is to you, so etc. So we're like, okay, let's see if he explains himself. Okay, being obese is
Oh
a choice.
no.
Being obese is a
No.
choice, and it will harm your quality of life significantly. It will make your life more difficult physically, day to day, and will have long-term health impacts on your body. This is not healthy. It isn't beautiful. And it isn't beautiful. Also, for what it's worth, too many P's. The Women on Sports Illustrated covers were too thin, and it's good to move away from that. But this is ridiculous. So, right, and then obviously everybody jumped in because
Yeah.
Alexander Botez, who's a poker player, vlogger, blah blah. Get in there.
Oh, what did she say? I love Alex. Hold on. What did she say?
On the flip side, it's important to normalize larger body types. Body positivity is about self love and self acceptance, both definitely healthy traits.
Yes.
That's the biggest takeaway women get from this cover, and not that they should gain weight unhealthily. But I think she's sort of giving them an out there,
Hmm.
because I don't think the issue is that people are going to get from this cover that you should get fat.
No.
What people are going to get from this cover is they put a beautiful, bigger woman on the cover.
Yeah.
And if she's not, if you don't like the double C,
Yeah.
then keep it pushing. But
Yeah.
some people, doesn't matter. Some people, believe it or not, Doug Polk, and then of course people were roasting him, and then they started, saying stuff about him, and the whole poker world obviously was up, and I generally
Yeah.
appreciate your incendiary takes, but categories and models of these, et cetera, et cetera. So, and
Yeah.
then okay, so then the reactions start. This is one of the better ones that I
You're
saw.
getting mad at this woman for being on the cover of a magazine? What? I would just like to point out the hypocrisy that Megan Fox was smoking a cigarette, which is directly related to cancer, and no one was health concerning her. Sofia
True.
Vergara, also smoking, no one cared. MIA, also smoking on the cover of a magazine. Bruno
Yeah.
Mars, also smoking on the cover of a magazine. Also, this was an ad, and this is an ad. And also, we all remember this ad. And no one has been health concerning these people at all. So, these people who are so concerned about health, they don't actually give a shit. Let's get real. If you're only tuning into the health conversation when someone above a size 10 is on the cover of a magazine, you don't actually care about health. You're just uncomfortable with looking at someone in a larger body.
Yeah. Well said. I mean, yeah, no, because let's not. It's such bullshit to say the health concern. You're not concerned for anyone's fucking health.
Right.
You're just body shaming at this point.
All right. Again, here's Warren Sapp on the cover of a magazine.
Hmm.
Football players that are large, 300 plus pounds,
Yeah.
are never thought of as unhealthy.
No.
So body issue. Not a lot of people were complaining about that. So it was basically sorry,
Mm. Mhm.
as a and here's the thing about body positivity, because as with most things in life, I fall somewhere in the middle, in the gray area.
Mhm.
Am I
It could get
completely
toxic, of course.
against fat shaming? No, no. I think in my mind, does shame, let me rephrase that. Do I think that at some part, shame plays a factor in mentally me wanting to lose weight? Yes. I think that some amount of shame and ridicule and stuff can be a motivating factor for certain people,
Mhm.
but it's not universal. And for some people, shame actually leads to very horrible things, like
Yeah.
cycles. So I take that back. I don't believe in fat shaming. I just do know that necessarily for some people that might be thicker skinned,
Mhm.
and, ironically said, or people that are, that have some sort of other mental capacity, the fat shaming and the jokes. Like I always said, I didn't care when my friends made fat jokes about me, as long as they were funny. If they
Mhm.
weren't funny, then they just sounds cruel.
Mhm.
But if you make me laugh with a fat joke, I never had any problem with it. So
Mhm.
I'm not 100% like you can't say nothing, but I'm also not 100% in that that people get mad at fat actors, or larger size models and stuff that get skinny, and they're saying,
Mhm.
"Oh, you sold out, and you should just love yourself as big."
Yeah,
And
exactly.
I don't get that part.
Adele and yeah.
I think there is a conversation to be had, and resources to be put out there for people so that they can make better decisions about their life. But for a privileged poker player with millions of dollars in the bank, to come out and pick on a woman, and a minority woman, and when you're fit, and then you say obesity is a choice. Well, it's very easy for you to say that obesity is a choice when you live in your body,
Mhm.
because you can make horrible, horrible choices in your body based on your DNA, your molecular structure, and your genetics. And
Mhm.
all you could get is maybe a pot belly or a beer belly.
Mhm.
Whereas somebody can make those type of choices live very healthily for 29 out of 30 days in a month, and in 2 days make bad decisions on what they eat, and they can have a horribly different effect, right?
Mhm.
There's
Yeah.
also, so for me, the issue of the fat shaming and the people on the cover is something that I wish I would have seen when I was a younger kid, because I lived my entire life, and we talked about this earlier. When I was in my teens, I was a little bit chubby,
Mhm.
and I felt like I was 300 pounds, like I was now. In my mind, I was 3 times the size that I was.
Mhm.
And I lived my entire life, being afraid to take my shirt off at the pool or at the beach. My entire life. I have never confidently
Mhm.
shown up at the beach or decided not to wear a shirt to a party. Oh, we're going to a party. You know what? I'm not going to wear a shirt,
Yeah.
which is for me I can't imagine that. My
Mhm.
entire wardrobe consists of ways to conceal my body, which is why I wear black a majority of the time, which is
Mhm.
why I wear black now, which is why I angle my camera in a way where I feel like I don't look as big as I do.
Mhm.
So hearing somebody that's coming from a place of privilege, that is in relatively good shape, even though he got roasted for some pictures, at that level, really made me have to make a tough decision, which was,
Unfollow.
to
Did you unfollow him?
yeah, I was basically like, this is somebody that he's a troll. I've always followed him. I love when he makes fun of people, even though he's kind of like a preppy sort of
Mhm.
bro, I guess, and I followed his career, and like I said, I've interviewed his partners, and I would love to have him on the show to talk about that if he ever wants to talk to somebody that's obese. But for me, it really was like a decision. It's like, man, like,
Yeah.
and I was like, all right, I guess, listen, does it matter to him that he has one less follower, or that I'm not going to watch the streams from his, because they do like a live poker stream and stuff like that. Like, I just want nothing to do with his brand anymore.
Yeah.
And that
That's
happens, man.
awesome.
Sometimes you got to make a decision, like I said. But like I said, I had Andrew Nemi, which is his partner, on the show, and he was fucking awesome. So the invite is open if he wants to talk about it, change my mind, or to talk to somebody who his words actually affected. More than happy to have him on the show as well, because I fucking love poker. You know that.
Yeah.
And I do want to create my own poker podcast called Poker Casually.
Mhm.
Working title. So
I love it.
because
I love
because it's for like a casual poker player. All the
Mhm.
good poker puns, because I think there's another guy that has a poker podcast, and it's called Poker in the Ear, because it's
Gotcha.
a, but so
Yeah.
that was right. So I thought Poker Casually would be kind of good. Anyway, so I had to unfollow Mr. Dougie Polk, and sort of get him out of my feed, because I kept the links up, because I wanted to see if he didn't take it down. I think he's going with the just let it go, and not fight back too much, and he was trying to sort of be funny about it. But you know the thing about it as well is that for example, there's this other billionaire guy, I think is called Bill Perkins,
Mhm.
and he does these things with poker players where he'll do lifestyle changes. So he has a bet with with a billionaire who's going to give him like 10 times his money if he loses a certain amount of body fat.
Mm.
So, and he has the money and the capacity to just hire a trainer, not have to work, not to worry about it. And a lot of these things come from your environment. It comes from the fact that fucking you can get three cheeseburgers for $2, or you can get a salad for $9.
Yeah.
It comes from the fact that if you had to worry every single day about where your money and your meal was coming from, you're stressed the fuck out. Maybe you don't have time to go to the gym. When you say obesity is a choice, it is incredibly insulting, because I make the choice every day to not want to be obese. I know exactly what it's good and not good for, and
Mhm.
and and it's still incredibly hard. So, sorry, Dougie, can't be a fan of yours anymore. I have to. I had to move the fuck on, and that's not even getting into skinny people that have chronic health problems,
Yeah.
and how obesity is not necessarily related.
Yeah,
I
no.
can understand, but the one thing, and him and Joe Rogan, as well, the one thing this pandemic did bring out
Joe Rogan.
is it fucking it did get a lot of the fucking snakes that had these horrible like
Takes.
anti-fat
Mm-hmm.
stance, and basically were like, we don't give a fuck if fat people die. We don't give a fuck, and the other
Mm-hmm.
fucking horrible trainer lady that was like,
Oh
if
yeah,
you're
yeah.
if you're fat, the vaccine's not gonna save your life, and stuff like that. So when I find those people in my life, I guess this might be a mental health decision. I don't when and this is the best way I think to deal with the internet. If you find those types of people or topics in your life, don't stress your life over it. Block them, unfollow them, and get away from it. Because
Mm-hmm.
when I'm finding topics or stuff that I don't want to see about it, I'm just eliminating them right away, and I'm not engaging. And the only reason that I'm engaging here is because I thought it was an interesting topic, and we've talked about fat shaming in the past, and
Yeah.
your host is a big guy. Um,
You're
who
getting
love
a lot smaller though by the fucking day.
Thank you. I'm trying.
Mm.
I'm trying here. All right, we talked about fat shaming.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah, I know. I was gonna say I actually regret that this topic came last because we're already 2 hours in.
Mhm.
But there's so much I want to say. But
Well,
I'm let's should we pick back up with this next pod?
yeah, we can bring it back up.
Okay,
Absolutely.
and then I want to riff off on that on like maybe compare it a little bit to slut shaming and stuff like that and getting into other topics like that. But I have a lot to say, especially about the Yumi and also Jordan Peterson. And there's just a lot. There's just a lot. I have thoughts and opinions.
All right, let me knock these out of the way, and then we'll
Hmm.
get out of here as we can. And again, I want to remind anybody that if you would like to support 2 a.m. Burrito, you can always find us, and you can also find our Patreon page at patreon.com/slash 2am burrito, where we are making podcast films, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. If
Hmm.
you would like to check this out, that's where we are. And moving right along here, let's do some fun ones and then get out of here. Excuse me. All right. Melissa Villaseñor,
I love
S,
her. What'd she do? Oh no. What'd she do?
SNL. Well, no, she's fine.
Okay. She's perfect,
But
right? I love her. Okay, yes.
she is perfect. But the topic of discussion came across with the SNL sketch last week. That was
Mm-hmm.
a pica pico, which in
Caprico.
my mind was kind of funny.
Hmm.
People had mixed reactions. I don't know whether they feel offended or honored or both.
Really?
Right. Somebody had the hot take of the council will be taking Selena Gomez's Latina card from her because of this, and I feel like
What? Excuse
this
you? Who made you
this
the fucking god of Latinidad?
yeah, this take is very very weak because
Yeah.
it's a, but anyway, it was basically a cable access sort of bit, the same way Wayne's World was a cable access bit.
Mhm.
And but this one happened to be with two Chicanas, with very, and as anybody knows, I have a chola fetish. So for me, it was yeah,
I
I was right at home. I
yeah.
didn't think it was the most hilarious sketch ever, but I did feel
I
that it
was
had funny
dying
moments.
laughing.
It
Bro,
had some
I
fun.
was dying.
It had
I
some
sent
laugh
it
out
to
loud
them.
moments.
Yeah, it was good.
Right. And this I feel is one of those things where, and then of course Remezcla, here's where the Selena Gomez Sensen
Husband
skate had fit.
divided.
Oh my
What?
God.
Also, her name was Sofia in the skit, and I think I
Yeah, yeah,
might
absolutely.
play
Yeah.
her for Halloween. I think I'm gonna be her for Halloween.
Oh, don't threaten me with a good time. Yeah, that's
Yes.
fine. Yeah, that's good. That's fun.
Somebody
Uh
Sofia Pico. Sofia.
Sofia from Pico Rivera.
Yeah.
So you liked it, and then so I think
Mhm.
this is one of those things where I think one of the last battlegrounds of
Mhm.
outrage is Latino culture, because
Mhm.
they keep throwing this bait to see if Latinos will get outraged about something, and
Mhm.
basically it's a bunch of white people that get outraged for us,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
say, we're like the actual people,
Like
boots
the
on the ground is
Latinx.
the la-
Latinx.
so it's kind of
Yeah.
weird because there was people that were saying, like, that it was like that people were mad. Did SNL only hire Hispanic to do stereotypes? Blah blah blah. Like,
Okay.
probably probably the dumbest shit I ever seen in my life, and people from Peak are all excited about it. This is
Hell
y'all's.
yeah.
This
If
is
they get
all
something from San Diego, I
representation.
love it.
Who
Yeah.
thought this was okay in the year of 2022?
Ay, Dios mío. God
So
bless you.
I mean, that's kind of like, kind of get over yourself, right?
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So I actually Um, I loved it. I thought it was hilarious. And I think that if people want to get outraged, like there was this I don't know if you remember this really really early YouTuber, early 2000s, whenever YouTube started. Her name was Stevie Ryan. Rest in peace, she passed away. But she played a chola. She's a white girl and she would dress up as Little Loca. And I used to love Little Loca. And now in 2022 I look back and I have rewatched some videos and I'm like, I still love it. But is it okay that a white girl played it? It's basically my biggest thing. I was like, oh, Stevie Ryan, it would not be acceptable nowadays. But Little Loca was fucking hilarious. Okay. You're not gonna get me to fucking cancel her or be mad, okay? It's fucking hilarious. Um, but yeah, so I don't think a white girl doing it would pass now. But they cast two Latinas. Yes, it's a stereotype. Yes, cholas are funny, dude. There's a lot of shit to make fun of. The jokes were great.
Absolutely,
Whoever
absolutely.
wrote it was great.
That
Like
was her. Yeah, she was
Selena
making.
or
No, I mean it
Via
was
Señor.
Melissa. Yeah, Melissa
I lo-
Villaseñor.
I love her. Yes, like it was as a Latina who like had a little chola past, whatever, wannabe chola. Like it was fucking hilarious. So I
Yeah.
could tell that it was written by a non-white person. It's not. I'm not. I'm not offended at all.
No,
You
I
know.
don't. I think I think Melissa probably wrote it as well. I think
Hmm.
her take was it. Let me see. She shared her thoughts on it, which was, I can't carry the weight and represent anyone but myself. It's my original character, and I made her silly and a boss for having her own local cable show.
Hell
Please worry
yeah.
about other things that are causing harm. I'm a comedian.
Yes. Thank you. It is not that deep, people. It's not
Yeah,
that deep. Okay.
yeah, it's
Like,
okay.
there
People,
used to be songs like "Lean Like a Cholo" and "Lean Like a Chola." Like, you guys, we made fun of each other a lot in the early 2000s, okay?
yeah,
Cholos are fun. You spray your hair with Aquanet, get a tattoo to rep your set. You do this shit, okay? It is hilarious. Like, I was dying at her accent. Like, that's
yeah,
bad. That's
that's bad. That's
good. Yeah, I was
sad.
like, bro, that's sad.
That's sad. And that's not
Oh,
sad.
that's
It's
good.
that's sad. No,
That's
dude,
sad. And then
that's sad.
that's sad. Oh, that's good. That's good. So good.
Yeah, it was funny. It was.
Yeah, I will not be shamed into hating this, okay? God.
Like I said, they're really trying to get Latinos to be outraged about stuff. They tried to do it
Mhm.
with what's his face, even Steven and the Transformer guy in the playing the Cholo in the movie. They try to do it with a bunch of stuff, and
Oh,
it's
yeah,
like
yeah. Yeah,
most of the
it's
time
not.
they keep probing. They keep probing.
Mhm.
All right, your girl, Kate McKinnon
Oh my god. Uh-huh. Pete Davidson.
and Pete Davidson.
No!
You didn't know that was her
Not
last show
Kate
this week?
McKinnon!
You didn't
No!
know her? You didn't watch? Oh wow! I thought you would have watched the episode from last night and have. You didn't know
Oh my
she was leaving?
god. No! I'll
Oh man!
I'll I'll watch it. I'll watch it, but like oh my god. I don't stay up
Oh
that late. Who watches this live anyway? I watch it on YouTube the next day.
yeah, she did. Yeah, she had the she was. I mean, and it
It
was a
makes
tender.
it makes sense. She's the funniest person on the cast. She's ready to move on to bigger things.
There was a tender moment at the end when you know how they have the post on stage hugs and stuff where
Mhm.
all the gay cast members were like coming up to her and like giving her big ass hugs, stuff like that. So
Oh,
she's definitely
I love
transcendent. Yeah, she's so good. Don't
she's so
cry.
good.
Don't be sad. Don't be sad.
My queer Latina little heart right now, you guys.
Sorry, all
Oh,
right, sorry. I thought you knew. I didn't
I
want to
didn't
break the
know.
news to
That's sad. Eh, that's sad.
but she did good. She
She
did
did
good. She
good.
did good. She did good for the queers.
I'm gonna. She did good for the queers.
Yeah,
That's
she was.
sad.
It's just sad, but anyway. The Madison was this was I thought this was funny. Oh, sorry, where'd you go? There you go. There you go. I thought this was funny. The people say I'm going to tell my grandkids that this was a Madison Cawthorn video,
Oh my god, I love it.
and that is so so
Oh.
so. Madison Cawthorn got primaried. He started saying a bunch of stuff about coke parties, orgies, and senators
Mhm.
doing key bumps in front of him. And voila, surprise, surprise, they fucking primaried his ass.
Mhm.
This was also, I mean, he's also a piece of shit. This is the guy that took a trip to visit Hitler's house. and did like a big ass right. Like this motherfucker went to
Yeah.
Germany to visit fucking Hitler's summer house. He gets
Yeah.
then they take pictures of him in lingerie. Then he's naked and humping a guy's face. Um, any thoughts on his tenure in Congress?
If you're homophobic, you're probably gay. That's like I forgot what YouTuber says that, but yeah, I'm just saying what okay. I was not up to date with all the details.
Mm.
Um,
Well, yeah, look up his video later when you. I mean,
but
basically, there was a video of
I
him
did know there was some
naked.
hoopla, yeah, but
There was a video of
he's
him
naked with a
naked.
man?
He's naked, and he basically there's a pillow between him and his cousin, and he's like pretending to hump him. I mean, it looks like something that you would do with some really close friends or for some hazing, but it
That's
also
some
looks
homo shit. That's some
yeah.
homo shit right there.
That looks very. It makes very. Not that there's
Oh,
anything wrong with that, but when you're when
no,
you're
when
trying
you're
to be the.
preaching hate, I have less sympathy.
Mhm,
So,
mhm, mhm.
man, trash on trash. But he lost the primary?
He got primaried. He got primaried like a motherfucker,
Okay,
and so he's out of there.
cool.
All
Cool,
right.
cool.
Have you ever watched the Zywe interviews?
The who?
I don't
No.
know. She basically brings people on and just tries to like really talk shit. So this was pretty funny.
I don't really have any plans. You know what I mean? I'm like the Joker.
You're like the
Do I
Joker.
look like a guy with a plan?
This is Chet Hanks.
Yeah. Oh my God, Chet
Yeah.
Hanks.
I'm like a dog chasing cars. I wouldn't know what to do with it if I got it. Batman, you complete me. My father was a drinker and a fiend. Yeah.
Wow.
R.I.P. Heath. Go. They tried to kill my wife.
Okay. Chatty chat. Is he okay?
Denzel.
Don't impersonate black men.
Shout out John David Washington.
Do you ever feel
Oh.
like you're desecrating like black people when you do shit like that?
Not at all.
Not at all. You feel like it's an honor. You're honoring them.
No, I don't feel like I'm doing anything. I feel like I'm just doing an impression.
Just being Chester Marlon Hanks.
Live in the flesh. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yikes. Oh no. White boy summer, am I right?
No, she basically has people on and then she just like calls them out on all their shit like super
Oh,
fast. Yeah, it's an interesting thing. All right, here's another scenario for you here. Your brother, right?
Uh-huh.
Your
My bro-
brother starts an OnlyFans, right?
Good for him.
Good for him, right? And he shows up one day and he tells you and he does this, right?
Oh, I
And
saw
I'm
this
gonna
one.
use-
Yeah.
So my first OnlyFans paycheck came in today, and I'm going to use 20 grand of it to pay off my sister's student loans. Because why the fuck not?
Anthony, you're gonna break my fucking door! Oh my god, oh my god.
That is your student loans. Paid in full by my penis.
It's really weird, but thank you. That's what you did for your sister. But did you ever think you should take that fucking money and buy your own fucking house?
Fair. That's fair.
So you'd have no problem with your brother using his penis to pay off your student loans?
No, please do. I encourage it. I don't think he'd do it, but I encourage it. Hector, please.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Start
Get
an
out there.
OnlyFans. Go ahead. Go ahead. Do it. Yeah.
Swing that thing around.
Yes. Do it for the family, for the culture, for our ancestors.
20 grand though. How long do you think it took that guy to make 20 grand?
That's what I was thinking because he said my first paycheck came in. That's why when I saw that I'm like I didn't really believe it. It's just too sus. The door breaking down, the mom. I'm like this looks very acted. I don't know.
There's a lot of editing there. There's a lot of editing. A lot of
Yeah.
editing for something that would happen here.
Yeah.
Right, here's another funny one here. This is the boys group chat must be crazy.
Give my fucking phone back.
No.
Don't go to my group chat, please.
No.
That's for the boys only.
Oh my god.
Stop. Open this fucking door.
You and your homies send pictures of your balls to each other?
I love it.
You're not supposed to know.
That's fucking weird.
It's not weird. It's the boys.
So they
That's gonna be my go-to line whenever somebody. It's not weird. It's the boys.
It's the boys.
I know it
not
wasn't playing,
weird.
but I think it wasn't playing as crisp as I
Boys
wanted.
only. Stop.
Uh, still blurry, but oh, that's hilarious.
In positive news, sexism is over. The
Wow,
U.S.
that's
women's
great.
national team and U.S. men's national team are now going to get equal pay for.
Mm.
So that's ladies. All right, ladies.
Wow. All
Good
right, we
job. All
win. All right, we
right.
get feminism. On one end, we get bodily autonomy taken away, and on the other end, equal pay for rich women. Yes. The
Yes.
gist of this is rich women will be fine.
Yeah. I mean,
No, that's
I
good. I
mean,
mean,
the,
ultimately, that's progress. That's good.
the
That's
U.S.
good.
The U.S. That's good.
That's good.
And the men are gonna be sad.
It
No,
is
this is good because honestly, I think it's good probably mostly in the U.S. because the U.S. women's soccer team is so many times better than the men's soccer team that it is ridiculous because they actually have won World Cups and fucking have like superstars and stuff like that. So I thought it was an interesting here. All right. Speaking of not getting pregnant, don't do this.
The fuck? Did you just play porn on the podcast?
No. What is this?
Is this like a dance craze?
Is this like something that happens at clubs on the beach?
That's all right. What the hell is that? I love how the bystanders are just
Like there's a lot of coordination there for that to be something that's impromptu happening, right?
yeah, no, that's like a dance. I'm
Right here.
confused.
And then finally here, this was something that was trending this week. A father burned his family's Olivia Rodrigo concert tickets worth $3,500 due to their tour's magazine requirements.
Dads.
Hold on.
Kids. Teens. There comes a point in life that you got to take a stand.
Gotta take a stand.
Stand for your values.
With
It's
values.
not always the easiest thing to do, but you don't have to be right, but start taking a stand for what's right. You're looking at $3,500 in concert tickets to a concert that wants to control me, that wants to tell you and I what to put in our bodies. And the bottom line is, create the
What to
life
put in your body.
that you are in personal control. What goes into your body to where you do not get bullied by a system or people or anyone to do something that compromises or sacrifices exactly what you're meant to do in the life you're meant to lead.
Yes, so abortion should be legal. Yes, thank you. God, finally.
So I guess my question is, who is Olivia Rodrigo?
Oh my God, Olivia Rodrigo, dude! I almost died because I would have killed to go to her concert. She was just in San Diego like this past week. Her concert was insane. Alexis went. Oh my God, I love Olivia Rodrigo, and I should not feel this passionate for a 19-year-old. But her music slaps. Are you kidding me? You're gonna burn that? Donate it to charity. Give it to me. I'm a broke bitch. God damn, sir. And it's all because of because I I didn't read the caption at first. So I thought like, oh, that's just a dad. He's probably mad that the daughter used his money. So I was like, yeah, I do the same shit. Yeah. But then I read the vaccine thing and I'm like, really? This is the hill you're gonna die on? Sir.
And also,
Sir.
what are the chances that, I mean, those just look like they printed them out on fucking.
Yeah, I don't believe this at
Yeah.
all, but I just feel like it was
Because if they were
wanted
true,
to
he
make
was
a
like,
point.
he threw them down before they got to the important part, and also he
Yeah.
could have just printed them out again. I don't think there's like.
There's also
I don't
online
think.
tickets. Like you don't
Yeah,
need it's a QR
yeah,
code.
yeah. It's a QR. There's no more like, oh, I went and I got the ticket. Yeah, like what do you? They're not. There's no. Plus, you're not showing up to a concert with that. You need like a Manila folder to hold all that shit. If that's really what you were going to take with you to the
Yeah, that was
concert.
a lot. Yeah.
So I'm not. So I think this was a little bit of
I think there's more
chasing.
pandering.
Chasing the clout. All right.
Mhm.
Nevada authorities find human remains in Lake Mead twice in a week. So what's happening is that the lake levels are going down all across the U.S. and they keep finding bodies that were buried in Vegas from like the 70s. So as water, that's one thing we got. One thing we got to look forward to is as water levels drop, we will be
How many
finding.
dead bodies?
They found remains twice in 1 week, and they believe it's from murders that happened in Vegas in the 70s.
Oh, that's cool. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not cool for the dead people, but that's cool. That's like an episode of, I don't know, Law and Order or some shit.
They could make a show, just a cold case show about that. They're just people pulling. Hey, that's free. Hey, that's free money.
There you go.
I'll write that
Start
show
writing.
I'll write that show for money.
You focus on editing the million projects you have not finished.
Oh, everything's finished. You're talking about everything's finished. Everything's
Okay,
finished.
alright.
And then lastly, Sophia,
Mhm.
as we wrap up this episode, which is still within the time that it usually takes us, we have a couple of no-namas ways that I want to clear out because they've been sitting here forever.
Okay.
All right, here's the first one. If you knew, this is, I believe, from Shay J. If you knew a way to cure cancer and other maladies, how would you go about getting people to believe you? So if you had the cure for cancer and you started saying, I have the cure for cancer, would people think you were insane? Let's say you don't have a medical
is-
background and you don't really
yeah.
know how to put it into words, but somehow you've been gifted the gift of knowing how to cure cancer. I don't know how else to take that question.
Yeah, because okay, because if
If
I
you
know
know
how
where
to
to-
cure cancer and I can write it down, I'm sure that people that are smarter than me will be like, yeah, that checks out. But
I guess how would you get people to like believe? Like if I walked
believe in
into
it.
fucking if I walked into like the room with the smartest doctors and like, hey, guess who cured
Guess who cured
cancer? I
cancer?
mean, I
Yeah.
don't know how to really. I just know how it's
But I
done. So I
do.
need you guys to check it out because I don't know.
See, this is where my deep-seated insecurities and imposter syndrome comes in. Because, like, even if I had the cure for cancer, I don't think I would believe in myself to tell anyone. Like, I would
Yeah,
want
give me
to.
that.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
would want to for the wellness of society. But like, I also would be like, but I'm so stupid. Like, I don't think I can cure cancer. Like, I
What
don't
I
know.
would do is I would kidnap one of the scientists, and then
Oh,
I would
force him to.
t-
Yeah.
do like a Cyrano type situation where you had like an
Mhm.
earpiece, and like I told them, here's the thing you got to say, and then so that around the other scientists, that would be.
That is smart. Yes.
Uh-huh,
Yeah, that's way better than my write a paper fucking thing. I'm like, let me just do a literature review article and hope that it gets picked up.
All right, here Joshua asked, my boss promoted someone who calls sick all the time, and I never do. He's also been there just a few more months than me. Should I complain to him or let it go?
Promoted.
My boss promoted someone who calls in sick all the time, and I
Yeah.
never do. He's
Mm,
also been there just a few more months than me. Should I complain to him or let it go?
man, that's hard. There's only a few months difference. I would request a promotion as well. And start calling in sick. Why not? No, I mean, I don't know. Would you? Would you like, because it does come off as a little whiny, right? To be like, well, so and so, you treat them that way. But then it's also like, well, you should stand up for yourself. But then it's also like, don't snitch. Like, don't throw them under the bus. I don't know, man. God, this is where my two sides just like really. I have my hood side where I'm like, no, we don't snitch on people. And then
Yeah.
my other one, which is like, fair is fair, and you should request a promotion as well. And you know what? You could also just bitch about it, because that's not cool. I don't know.
For me, it's going to depend on a couple of factors. Number one,
Okay.
what is the job? What is the job? Is it a job where you can very clearly, like a sales or a customer service job, where you can clearly see how many sales difference in between you? Because for a long time, companies would, and like I said, I trained, hired, and fired over 100,000 people in my day job in my life. So this is pretty easy this is something that I dealt with from both sides, and that is sometimes you if it's a job in a position where production is quantifiable, which means that you can very clearly see which employee is better than the others or is more productive than the other. Sometimes businesses would apply the Peter principle and believe that the best person doing the production job would be the best person to be in a management position.
Right.
That was classic Clinton. Sophia is the best. She gets the most sales. Therefore, she is the best person to be the next manager and manage the people. What that does is it takes a productive person off and it assumes that because you're good at something, you can get good at motivating and teaching something. So that would be my first question. What is the job, and are they better at it from a production standpoint than you, more efficient at it, and or maybe, so you have to be honest with yourself and see whether or not that person was, number one, better at the job than you or more productive, even if they're there less.
Mhm.
And the second part is, are they better, regardless of what your job is, with the job that you're doing? Be honest with yourself about whether that person has either leadership qualities or some other skill that might make them better at the promotion than you.
Okay.
So for me, it would be because I, and then the second part of that is, should you complain? No, absolutely not. Because I'm trying to think of myself how I would feel if I promoted somebody to a position for my reasons, whether they're misguided or not. They're the boss. So if you tell them you promote the wrong person,
Mm.
you're not saying that I am better than this person. That person is the wrong person for the job. What you're telling me, the boss, is that I made a wrong decision.
You made a wrong decision. Yeah, you're gonna take it personally, of course.
From your perspective, you are
Mhm.
trying to right a wrong and give your opinion. But what you are telling me is that I'm an idiot and that I made the wrong
Mhm.
decision. So
Would you be okay with, because same, I just think it comes off as petty. So I wouldn't necessarily be like, well, they got that and I didn't. But what about a very professional, tasteful email where you request a promotion in which maybe you include the fact that you are so good at being there all the time, you know? You can say my many qualities that I, this and that, because you do have to kind of haggle for a promotion. Like at least with me, they're like, okay, well, why should we promote you? And I'm like, oh, A, B, C, and D. Like here you go. And they're like, okay, cool, you got a promotion. But that's when I request a raise, which I constantly do.
the squeaky wheel gets greased, right?
Yeah. But then
The
again, I have an HR department, and so it's not really super personalized. So that's another thing. Because you're right. If it's like a boss employee situation where, like, let's say it's a smaller company and like it's just you guys, then it's gonna be fucking awkward. So I've also had that situation. I don't think I would have brought it up to him because
Yeah.
super awkward.
Also, are you one of two people in that position and one of you got promoted? Are you guys 2 out of 50 people in that position and he was the person that got promoted? I need more information before I could really say that. But in
Mhm.
general, it's not a good idea to tell the boss you made a wrong decision. What is a good
Yeah.
idea is to be an advocate for yourself, like you said, and ask for more money, or say, listen, if you believe that I'm in a better position here at this job and not being promoted, I believe that I should be compensated better because, if I'm, because I'm obviously one of the top people in my position. Therefore, like if you were in consideration for a promotion and they're going to keep you at your same job, then that means that you have some leverage in terms of maybe staying at your current job but making a little more money,
Mhm.
or putting yourself in lines. Listen, I just want to let you know that that next time a promotion comes up, I'd like you to consider that I'm always here.
Mhm.
I'd like you to consider my skills and that. And in the meantime, if I'm going to still be doing the same job, which I've been doing at a top notch, and I never miss any time, I think we should incorporate some bonuses for my attendance, or I think we should incorporate some other things here to so that I can feel,
Mhm.
more compensated. That's
Yeah.
the right way to approach it. Saying,
Exactly.
complaining about it. Why did Joey get the promotion? Why did Annie get the promotion instead of
That
me?
never goes over well.
It's a bad move. It's a bad move,
Yeah.
Joshua. But good luck with that.
Yeah.
All right. And then lastly here, Xiomara, Xiomara.
Mhm. Xiomara.
Um,
Xiomara.
Xiomara. I always get, I don't know, you Mexicans with those X name, Oaxaca and fucking all this
It's
other
an
stuff.
S basically, so
Yeah,
Xiomara.
yeah, yes, I
Yeah.
know. But it always clogs my brain before I can
Yeah.
say it. Okay. Um, yeah. Is it a red flag if you start dating someone and they immediately too clingy? Like they also need a response to a text within seconds.
Yeah. Yeah. What? Yes. That is a red flag. It's like my anti-love language. It's my hate language. Don't fucking pressure me for a text. Here's the thing. Too clingy.
Mhm.
That's subjective, right?
Right.
Um the text part. Yeah, that's a red flag. So I don't know about too clingy. That I think that's subjective and that depends because there's been times where like I found love super hard and we were just like, oh, love you. And we wanted to be each other around each other all the time and whatever, right?
Mhm.
So that's subjective to your relationship and how you and the person feel about each other. The text message, yeah, that's kind of a red flag because if they're expecting you to reply like within seconds and they can't understand that maybe you're busy or you're like doing something else, like I hate that. That's a pet peeve of mine. I'm like, don't fucking expect me to reply right away. I have a life.
Yeah,
Respect
no,
that, please.
especially if if like you can send them like multiple message and then they're like, they don't respond back to you, but then when you take 2 seconds to respond, they're like calling you all of a sudden, like what,
Yeah.
like what do you what is the thing, like like
Yeah.
that ain't cool. Yeah, anything that you feel moves too fast in a relationship, like is a red flag. Too clingy could mean
Mhm.
they're codependent. Also, red flag for possible abusers,
Mhm.
who might want
Love
to
bombing.
love bombing, who might want to gaslight you and think, but I love you and I need you so much, and blah blah
Mhm.
blah type deal. Love bombing. All
Mhm.
these things that have names now that were just the way
Yeah.
people acted forever.
So common. You gotta be, yeah. Be
Yeah,
watching out for these red flags. I say yes, it's a red flag.
yeah. I
Dump his
mean,
ass.
dumb. Yeah, Shimada, you can do better. You
Yeah.
got a cool name.
That's a cool ass name. Shiomara.
Shiomara. So you're doing a good you're doing the right thing, and if you're making the question, then you probably then you probably already know
You
that it
probably
is
know the
kind of
answer.
like because you're there. So
Yeah, I like what you
uh
said. Anything that's moving too fast for you is probably a red flag.
yeah.
You know? It's just, if it's moving too fast for you, then voice that, communicate that if you really like the person. But personally, all in all, yeah, for me, I'm like, no, no,
All right.
shit don't fly.
And so hey, we've done it all. We've
We've done
covered
it all.
multiple topics. I'm going to go figure out who this Olivia Rodrigo person is, listen to some of her music.
Yeah. Driver's license. It's so depressing. And then Good
Driver's
for
license.
You. I'm sure you've listened to Good for You on the radio a billion times.
Maybe there's so many that like I couldn't pick her out of a crowd. Honestly, like you could
Yeah.
put her. I would not be able. If you showed me 3
You need
pictures,
to
like
get
I would.
TikTok. Can I get you on TikTok, please?
I
There's gonna be an
have
episode.
I have a TikTok account, and every person that I've talked to who's ever given me advice about growing the pod and stuff has told me, and even as a brand, that I need to start posting content on there.
Yeah, TikTok is
I
very
just haven't figured, and I've thought about posting like little shorts, like this, like kind of like the Ed Wood Film School stuff, but like condensed
Mhm.
versions of it. So I know
Yeah.
that I will be on there eventually at some point. I'm just sort of resisting it as long as possible. But yeah, you'll
Yeah.
see me you'll see me at the accounts are there. I just haven't promoted. So yeah, so I'll check out some of her stuff as well. So thank you everybody for watching. As again, I remind you that this episode has been brought to us by
Not again.
Megapint.
Megapint. Oh my god, I
Did
love
somebody
this.
just shit in your bed? Have a Megapint.
Have a Megapint. You need it.
Yeah. Are
What is it?
fangirls all over the world creaming themselves to have your back, even though it's going to make them look silly eventually when it turns out you're an asshole? Have a Megapint.
Have a Megapint. Yeah.
Yeah, get the booze into you faster. You tired of having to go back to the fridge for a beer every 20 minutes? Get a
Megapint.
Megapint. It's a very large or huge measurement of alcohol.
Love it.
So, as it
Amen.
is, amen to that.
Yes.
We've said it all. We've done it all.
Alrighty. Yeah, we're gonna go have a
Yeah.
Megapint, you guys. Thank you.
I'm gonna have myself a wee bit of a bathroom break, and I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Everybody that stopped by again, thank you for letting me rant about my personal stuff. We covered a lot of topics,
Mhm.
and we're back at it. I can't
We're
remember
back
how to.
at it, baby.
We're back at it. Let me just find this video here, and I'll say goodbye, and then I'll talk to you in a second.
Alrighty.
Peace out, everybody.
Hasta luego.